Chapter 1182. Qin Wentian directly stepped into the sky-connecting immortal stone. That immortal stone was like a gate of the void, allowing him to step into the second level of the sky-connecting realm. At this moment, Qin Wentian had indeed stepped into another dimension. This place seemed to be an ancient palace, desolate and uninhabited. This caused Qin Wentian to naturally think of the dimension he entered when he crossed the immortal sea back then. Could it be that that dimension was the same as this one? A dimension that belonged to the Tiandao Sacred Academy? And only those with extraordinary performances would have the chance to enter this secret dimension. For example, he crossed the immortal sea in pursuit of truth, and entered a different dimension. And now, after ascending to the Supreme Might rankings twice, he also entered this secret dimension. With his previous experience, Qin Wentian naturally knew that this dimension was an extraordinary place. His silhouette flickered as he moved forward. Although this ancient palace was desolate and ancient, it exuded a mysterious aura, causing one to feel that this place was extraordinary. He followed that mysterious feeling and advanced forward, arriving before a screen of light. This screen of light was like a mirror, and Qin Wentian's silhouette could be seen reflected within. Within it, runic lights could be seen flowing about, boundlessly wondrous yet extremely hard to grasp. Qin Wentian stretched out his hand, and tried to touch the screen of light only to discover that his hand had no way to touch it at all. It was like an existence of the void, simply hanging there, like a mysterious dimension. He knew it was there, but it was hard to touch it. Does it really not exist? Qin Wentian was somewhat puzzled. He lifted his hand and blasted out with a palm strike. A gigantic palm imprint whistled through the air, blasting into the screen of light. Faint ripples appeared within before it transformed into beams of runic light and vanished, causing Qin Wentian to feel even more unfathomable. But at this moment, a scene that caused Qin Wentian to be stunned appeared. In the mirror, his figure could be seen, but it wasn't in the form of him standing. He lifted his hand and blasted out a palm imprint, repeating it over and over again. After that, the law energy within the palm imprint was modified, growing stronger and stronger. At the very end, that palm imprint actually seemed to be extremely perfect. In fact, it even surpassed the limits of Qin Wentian's attack. This kind of perfection was the use and control of every single bit of power. It was just a casual palm strike, but it actually blasted out the rhythm of the laws. This? Qin Wentian stared at the figure in front of him. The figure gradually dissipated. Qin Wentian's heart pounded. Divine ability evolved on its own. If that was the case, cultivating divine abilities here would definitely allow one to possess shocking might and raise one's combat strength to an unsurpassable limit. Suppress. Qin Wentian was impatient to verify the guess in his heart. He opened his mouth and spat out a gigantic ancient character. This character was the word suppress, containing the might of a true art. It shot out and floated in the air, suppressing everything before it, blasting into the screen of light. Specks of runic light flashed. This screen of light seemed to be analyzing his divine ability with the power of laws. After that, Qin Wentian discovered that his figure once again appeared in the screen of light. He opened his mouth and spat out the word suppress, continuously trying to evolve it. Each time, the might of the word grew stronger and stronger. In the end, when the ancient character was spat out, the heavens and earth seemed to resonate with it. That ancient character was like a law, transforming into an ancient character of laws, truly unleashing the power of truth to the extreme. The powerful ancient character suppressed the heavens and earth, collapsing the void as it was spat out from Qin Wentian's mouth. The might of a single word can actually be so powerful. Qin Wentian sighed in his heart. This was the perfection of innate techniques. Upon seeing the attack in the screen of light, Qin Wentian couldn't help but feel a little ashamed. In Tiandao Sacred Academy, his combat prowess was unrivaled among those at the same level as him. There was no one who could contend against him, and all of them had to jump levels to do so. However, this was because his immortal foundation was perfect, his fleshly body was unrivaled, and he also cultivated the ultimate art god's hand. Not only that, he also had the support of a true art and his bloodline as his foundation. He had never doubted the usage of his innate techniques. Maybe his comprehension abilities were already very high when compared to others. But right now, when he saw himself in the mirror, he knew that he could still improve himself, allowing his combat prowess to be even more perfect. Although there were differences in strength between innate techniques, there were some who could unleash extremely powerful might from low-level innate techniques. There were also some who could modify their innate techniques. Everything depended on one's own comprehension abilities. Qin Wentian had grasped many different types of innate techniques, and right now, he mainly relied on the power of God's hand in combat, allowing him to unleash all sorts of tyrannical attacks. Now that he had this opportunity, he would be able to upgrade his innate techniques to a higher level. With this mirror in combination with the cultivation of the myriad laws record, Qin Wentian was even thinking that if he cultivated all of his innate techniques to a certain limit, would he be able to modify the power of his innate techniques? Qin Wentian started to test it out. He started from the Fiend God Heavenly Suppression Art, slowly strengthening his innate techniques. After that, he faced the mirror and started to comprehend and cultivate. This was naturally a very long process. In the external world, Qing'er and the others stood guard in front of the Supreme Might rankings. Those major powers that had grudges against Qin Wentian ultimately didn't come to seek revenge. Maybe it was because they were shocked by how strong Qin Wentian was. They knew that in the Sacred Academy, cultivation was the most important thing. If not, they would be surpassed by the later generations. Ever since Qin Wentian entered the Sacred Academy, he had already left too many geniuses behind. As long as he grew stronger, he wouldn't have to worry about not being able to kill Qin Wentian in the future to wash away the humiliation. In addition, to Zidi's followers and the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, as long as the adjudication judge still existed, the Evergreen Kingdom wouldn't be able to stand against the joint forces of all the major powers. They would only see Qing'er being forced to join the Sky Mist Alliance. This was the general situation of the eastern regions. How could it be something Qin Wentian could control? In the blink of an eye, several months passed. With regards to the battle between Qin Wentian and Qin Wentian, the Sacred Academy gradually forgot about it. There were more and more battles happening in the Sacred Academy, and there was even a supremely powerful battle at the pinnacle. There were simply too many experts in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. All of them had extraordinary talent, and were incomparably arrogant. How could they not clash against each other when they stood together? The disciples of Jicheng's gate persuaded Qing'er to leave temporarily. They knew that Qin Wentian wouldn't be able to leave the Sky Connecting Realm in a short period of time. Qing'er agreed. How could she not want to be together with Qin Wentian? However, she mustn't stop on her path of cultivation. Although she didn't like to speak, her thoughts were sharp. She knew that the Evergreen Kingdom was facing immense pressure. Both she and Qin Wentian needed to grow rapidly. This opportunity to cultivate in the Tiandao Sacred Academy couldn't be wasted. Qin Wentian's good friends all dispersed as they busied themselves with their own cultivation. In the blink of an eye, 2 years passed. 38 years have passed since the founding of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. An incomparably beautiful celestial maiden stepped into the territory of the Sacred Academy. This was none other than Mo Qingqing, who entered the Sacred Academy to cross the Immortal Sea. The Immortal Sea was extremely difficult to cross, but she still managed to cross it because of her strong conviction. Mo Qingqing walked into the Tiandao Sacred Academy step by step. She soared through the air and stared at the 4 majestic sacred academies that were connected to each other from afar. A smile that could topple the world flickered in her eyes, so beautiful that it would cause one's soul to tremble. Those who stepped into the immortal foundation realm were known as fairies. Their bodies would glow with immortal light and their demeanor would change, becoming as beautiful as a celestial maiden. Mo Qingqing originally already had a breathtaking countenance. Now that her cultivation base was also at the immortal foundation realm, her pure and flawless countenance caused all flowers to lose their luster. Wentian has cultivated here for over 30 years. Mo Qingqing mused. She finally arrived at the place where he cultivated. This Tiandao Sacred Academy was so miraculous. Most probably his improvements must have been great. When she thought of the fact that she arrived at the place where he cultivated, Mo Qingqing couldn't help but feel happy. She felt a sense of closeness because the person she missed the most was here. Many passers-by all turned their gazes onto Mo Qingcheng. Beauties were hard to find, especially one as beautiful as Mo Qingcheng. Although cultivation was number one on the martial path, there were also immortals who loved beauty. When they passed by, they would naturally be attracted by her beauty and couldn't help but to steal a few more glances at her. "What a beautiful woman," someone praised. "There's another beauty over there. That's Huasini. She's also a rare beauty, but right now, she actually paled in comparison to that beauty. What a miraculous scene." Fairy's name? A genius laughed. Mo Qingcheng merely nodded at them. She didn't want to offend them and didn't reply. This was her first time coming to the Sacred Academy, and she naturally didn't dare to offend others. "Might I ask where Fairy came from?" A genius blocked in front of Mo Qingcheng as he asked with a smile. Mo Qingcheng stared at him and replied, "I came from a small place very far away from here." After speaking, she nodded her head slightly, wanting to walk past that person. However, that person's silhouette flickered as he continued to block Mo Qingcheng's path. He then smiled. "Fairy, why don't we travel together?" A bunch of lecherous people. A cold snort rang out as Huasini walked to the side of Mo Qingcheng. After that, the two beauties stood side by side, transforming into a beautiful scenery. Scram! Huasini coldly snorted. A moment later, the expression of that genius stiffened. Huasini's talent was outstanding, but there was no need to fear her. However, her Dao companion was extremely famous, and was a terrifying character from the 100 Refinements sect. It was rumored that she was Li Yufeng's greatest opponent in the sect, and had once contended for the position of Sage Child. That person coldly snorted and departed. "Thank you." Mo Qingcheng thanked Huasini. "No worries, I'm Huasini. I've been cultivating in the Sacred Academy for over 20 years. I can see that your cultivation base isn't very high. When did you enter the Sacred Academy?" The maiden gently asked. "I just arrived." Mo Qingcheng had just received help from the other party, hence she spoke the truth. "So this is the case. Let me lead the way and introduce the Tiandao Sacred Academy to you." Huasini smiled. Mo Qingcheng nodded lightly and followed after Huasini. After entering the Sacred Academy, Huasini introduced the various cultivation grounds of the Sacred Academy to Mo Qingcheng. She also introduced the Sky Connecting Realm and the other places in the Sacred Academy, causing Mo Qingcheng to silently sigh in admiration. This Tiandao Sacred Academy was truly a holy land for cultivation. He should be living very well here, right? On the way, the two beauties enjoyed the gazes of praise from many. However, there were even more gazes that landed on Mo Qingcheng, causing Huasini's expression to be somewhat unnatural. The attentive Mo Qingcheng naturally discovered this as well. She then spoke. "Sini, I wish to cultivate alone. There's no need for you to bother about me." Huasini wanted to nod, but at this moment, a voice drifted over. "Sini, who is this fairy?" As the sound of the voice faded, a resplendent genius walked over. This was none other than the substitute saint child of the 100 Refinements sect, Dong Linwu. His cultivation base was extremely high and his talent was outstanding. Linwu. A mesmerizing smile instantly appeared on Huasini's face. She walked to the side of Dong Linwu and hugged his arm. "This is my new friend, Mo Qingcheng. Fairy Qingcheng truly has the charm to topple cities." Dong Linwu smiled, his words causing Huasini's countenance to change slightly. After that, she smiled. "Qingcheng, since you want to cultivate, you should go quickly. This is your first time entering the Sacred Academy, you have to be careful." Fairy Qingcheng just entered the Sacred Academy? Dong Linwu was bewildered. Since Fairy Qingcheng is Sini's friend, why don't we travel together? At least we can take care of each other. Chapter 1183. Mo Qingcheng hesitated. She glanced at Huasini, wanting to reject, but Dong Linwu continued. "The Tiandao Sacred Academy is vast and boundless. If we travel together, we might be able to help Fairy a little. Sini, what do you think?" Huasini nodded when she saw Dong Linwu smiling at her. "That's right, Qingcheng. Let's go together then." "Okay then." Mo Qingqing thought back to the scene where they encountered people blocking their way earlier. She couldn't help but to nod her head lightly. This Hua Xini and Dong Linwu seemed to be very powerful characters. Also, they were a couple. This way, things wouldn't be awkward. She hoped that they would be able to find Wentian as soon as possible. Let's go. I'll bring you around the Sacred Academy. Dong Linwu smiled. After that, he turned and walked out. Dong Linwu was a heaven's chosen of the 100 Refinements sect, a substitute sage child. Back then, he had once fought for the position of sage child, and lost to Li Yufeng. He had always wanted to defeat Li Yufeng one day. However, Li Yufeng's talent was truly admirable. Dong Linwu, on the other hand, had a very high status in the 100 Refinements sect. In addition to his strength, many people were extremely polite to him. The 100 Refinements sect is a peak power in the northern regions. Lin Wu is someone who has a chance to become a sage child. His talent is outstanding and he treats me very well. Hua Xini spoke as a smile appeared on her face. MHM, I'm really envious of you. Mo Qingqing smiled. Fairy Qingqing, given your beauty, if you want to find a lover, it wouldn't be difficult even for someone like me. Dong Linwu laughed. Qingqing is indeed beautiful. However, Dong Linwu, characters like you are extremely rare even in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. How can it be so easy to find one? Hua Xini laughed. Mo Qingqing was speechless when she heard their words. She then asked in a low voice. You guys said that the sky connecting realm can allow people to see words? Is this true? Naturally. Dong Linwu nodded. I wish to take a look at the sky connecting realm. Mo Qingqing spoke in a low voice. Dong Linwu had a strange expression on his face but he soon nodded. Okay, Xini and I will go with you. Thank you. Mo Qingqing thanked him and flew in the direction of the sky connecting realm. Dong Linwu followed behind her, and Hua Xini was still behind. When she saw this scene, an unsightly expression flashed in her eyes. However, she swiftly concealed the unhappiness in her eyes and chased after Dong Linwu, walking side by side with him. Qingqing, do you need me to introduce a Dao companion to you? In this Tiandao Sacred Academy, geniuses are as common as the clouds. There are many from the 100 Refinements sect, and all of them are extremely outstanding. If you can get close to a genius from the 100 Refinements sect, you wouldn't be intercepted so easily. Hua Xini said with a smile. However, there was a hidden meaning behind her smile. No need, I already have someone I like. Mo Qingqing shook her head lightly, as her footsteps involuntarily quickened. Is that so? What kind of person is he? How talented is he? Which peak power is he from? Hua Xini asked. He's naturally extremely outstanding. When Mo Qingqing thought that she would soon be able to meet Qin Wentian, she no longer cared about Hua Xini's attitude. A beautiful smile appeared on her face, causing Dong Linwu who was beside her to feel waves in his heart when he saw this smile. In the 100 Refinements sect, other than his cultivation base being slightly higher, he was inferior to Li Yufeng in every aspect. Even women were the same. Although Hua Xini was very outstanding, when compared to the younger sister of Li Yufeng's lover, Princess Kitamura, she was still inferior. As for Mo Qingqing, her beauty could even surpass that of Baiming Nongyue. In fact, even when compared to Princess Kitamura of the northern regions, each of them had their own merits. Such a beauty didn't need to have too high of a talent. Even if she was kept at home, she would still be pleasing to the eyes. Not only that, being able to enter the Sacred Academy already meant that she had extraordinary talent. Dong Linwu's heart trembled slightly. The three of them had already entered the entrance of the sky-connecting realm, and were rushing towards the central region. Looking at Mo Qingqing's expression, Dong Linwu could faintly guess that she wanted to use the sky-connecting realm to search for someone. I'm really curious. Which genius would be able to cause Fairy Qingqing to miss him so much? Dong Linwu laughed. Hua Xini pulled on Dong Linwu's arm, as though she was worried that his arm would be snatched away. She then spoke. I hope Qingqing's lover is also an extraordinary man. But no matter what, how can he be compared to you? Although Qingqing is outstanding, I'm afraid the man she loves isn't even qualified to carry your shoes. Dong Linwu didn't deny it. This Hua Xini was truly intelligent. She actually saw through his thoughts and spoke such flattering words. However, this only made him feel more and more satisfied in his heart. Mo Qingqing furrowed her brows. She could already sense that something was wrong with Dong Linwu's attitude. When she heard Hua Sini speak of Qin Wentian in such a manner, she naturally felt unhappy in her heart. Although Dong Linwu is very outstanding and I won't compare him to my husband isn't as bad as what you said. Husband? The eyes of Dong Linwu and Hua Sini flickered. Dong Linwu felt extremely unhappy in his heart. Such a pure beauty was actually someone else's wife. Not only that, he even had some thoughts about her. He was naturally unhappy. As for Hua Sini, she was silently laughing in her heart. Glancing at Dong Linwu who was beside her, Hua Sini sighed in her heart. Men were all lustful and loved beauty. For a genius like Dong Linwu, it was basically impossible for him to only have one woman in his life. Being able to carry Linwu's shoes for him can already be considered as me thinking highly of him. Hua Sini coldly snorted, her expression changing faster than flipping the pages of a book. Mo Qingqing's countenance changed as she stared at Hua Sini. Why are you speaking in such a manner? Mo Qingqing, the Sacred Academy has already been established for close to 40 years. You have just entered the Sacred Academy, and your talent is extremely low. I'm afraid you have no idea what the geniuses of the Tiandao Sacred Academy are at. Linwu has the chance to become the sage child of the 100 Refinements sect, commanding countless experts from the Tiandao Sacred Sect. You have no way to imagine how outstanding he is. As for that husband of yours, who does he think he is? To be able to have a beauty like you as his companion, I feel that he isn't worthy of you. Hua Sini coldly continued. Why don't you accompany me to serve Linwu? Naturally, you can also leave any time you want. I'm sure Linwu wouldn't stop you. You shameless. Mo Qingqing's countenance grew incredibly unsightly as she spat out 2 words. This Hua Sini was Dong Linwu's girlfriend, yet she actually dared to say such shameless words to please Dong Linwu. At this moment, Dong Linwu didn't say anything, he merely stood at the side and quietly watched on. Being able to have such an opportunity, Mo Qingqing, you should feel honored instead. You don't know how to appreciate favors. If it wasn't for me and Linwu escorting you, given your beauty, there would surely be many people who would make a move against you. Even if you have to pay a price to repay them, it's only right. Hua Sini continued, causing Mo Qingqing's face to turn red. At this moment, they had already arrived at the central region of the sky-connecting realm. Mo Qingqing dashed towards a stone pillar, and Hua Sini didn't obstruct her. She merely stared at Mo Qingqing as she spoke to Dong Linwu with a hint of resentment in her voice. Where can you find a girlfriend like me? I will naturally treat you well. Dong Linwu laughed, pulling Hua Sini into his embrace, exuding an air of elegance. He stared at Mo Qingqing's actions, only to see her placing her hands on the stone pillar and inscribing a few words on it. Instantly, a row of beautiful words floated in the air above the sky-connecting realm. Mo Qingqing stared at the floating words as a look of hope appeared on her face. She mumbled in a low voice, Wentian, I miss you. Where are you, Qingqing? The ancient words in the air were none other than Mo Qingqing's voice. That voice was as soft as a mosquito's, yet it contained a deep sense of longing. At this moment, many people inclined their heads and stared at the words in the air. Among them, there were many who had experienced the voice of one of the 4 sacred academies, the Shizhong Wall. That sentence filled with longing. Qing'er, I miss you. These beautiful words floated in the air. Wentian, I miss you. Although there were no bell chimes, and there were no sounds of longing, just by looking at these words, one could still feel the emotions of the person who carved them. Back then, when the Shizhong Wall spoke of longing, that person was none other than Qin Wentian. Could this Wentian be Qin Wentian as well? Could there really be such a coincidence in this world? Qin Wentian used the bell chime to transmit his longing to the daughter of the evergreen immortal emperor. And now, this woman named Qingqing was actually inscribing words to express her longing for him. The expression in Dong Linwu's eyes changed. He stared at Mo Qingqing. What's the name of your husband? Mo Qingqing turned her head and stared at Dong Linwu. My husband's name is Qin Wentian. Dong Linwu furrowed his brows as his countenance changed. He had heard of the name Qin Wentian before. 2 years ago, Qin Wentian had once caused a huge commotion in the sky-connecting realm. He seemed to be an extremely powerful character. Huang Yudi, Bai Mao, and even the son of the thunder god Leiba, had all suffered losses in his hands. I've never heard of him before. I advise you to listen to me. Being able to serve Linwu is your fortune. If not, when your husband comes he would scram away with his tail between his legs, leaving you behind. That would only make things awkward for you. Although Qin Wentian was extremely famous, not everyone in the 4 sacred academies knew of him. This Hua Sini seemed to have never heard of Qin Wentian's name before. The frown on Dong Linwu's face deepened when he heard her words. At this moment, he inclined his head and stared at a group of silhouettes in front of him. This group of people exuded an extraordinary aura. The man was handsome while the woman was beautiful. Although they couldn't be compared to Mo Qingcheng, they were even more outstanding compared to Hua Sini. Dong Linwu, you are getting more and more unbearable. The young man in the lead coldly spoke. Hua Sini frowned. Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to Linwu in this manner? Li Yufeng laughed as he glanced at Hua Sini. He then shook his head. You are actually interested in such a woman? Indeed, the kind of person one is, the kind of person one is. After speaking, he glanced at Mo Qingcheng, feeling somewhat bewildered by her beauty. Are you looking for Qin Wentian? MHM, do you know where he is? Mo Qingcheng nodded. This person seemed to be acquainted with Qin Wentian. I know, but I don't think he's out yet. Just wait here patiently. I believe there will be someone coming to fetch you soon. Li Yufeng spoke to Mo Qingcheng, his words causing an expression of joy to appear on Mo Qingcheng's face. She could feel that Li Yufeng's demeanor was even more extraordinary compared to Dong Linwu. There shouldn't be a need for him to lie to her. However, who would be coming to fetch her? Where was Wentian? Chapter 1184. Hua Sini's countenance grew increasingly unsightly. Every sentence of the young man in the air was insulting her and Dong Linwu. She turned her gaze to Dong Linwu only to see him lifting his head and staring at the young man in the air. Are you going to interfere in my matters? I don't have that kind of leisure time. It's just that since you are a member of my 100 Refinements sect, it doesn't matter if you lose face or not. You don't seem to care about that, but the face of the 100 Refinements sect is something we can't afford to lose. Li Yufeng faintly spoke. As a saint-child character of the 100 Refinements sect, he naturally had the qualifications to speak for them. Dong Linwu's expression grew increasingly heavy. Upon hearing this, Hua Sini was somewhat taken aback. So it turned out that this young man was also someone from the 100 Refinements sect. Linwu, who is he? Hua Sini asked in a low voice. Li Yufeng. Dong Linwu coldly replied. After which, Hua Sini's countenance changed. Since she was Dong Linwu's lover, she naturally knew the name of the saint-child of the 100 Refinements sect. From afar, several figures could be seen flying over. These were the experts from the Battle Saint tribe. The wife of the Saint Lord was named Mo Qingcheng. They were naturally very clear about this. When they saw the word missing in the air, they instantly knew that the wife of the Saint Lord had arrived at the Tiandao Sacred Academy. We pay our respects to Madame Qin. These people came before Mo Qingcheng and nodded to her. A smile appeared on Mo Qingcheng's face. Seems like she would be able to see Wentian very soon. A white silhouette dashed over, directly leaping into Mo Qingcheng's embrace, appearing exceptionally intimate. Behind him, Nam Huang Yunxi and the other experts also appeared. So it turned out that Little Rascal had always been together with the beauties of the Nam Huang clan. Little Rascal. Mo Qingcheng rubbed Little Rascal's head as her smile grew even wider. However, on the other side, Hua Sini's countenance gradually changed. She could sense that these people who appeared were all extraordinary characters. Yet they respectfully referred to Mo Qingcheng as Madame Qin. These beauties who appeared all exuded an extraordinary aura, and were all here for her. From the looks of it, the husband Mo Qingcheng spoke of was also an extraordinary heaven chosen. There were also several disciples from the heavenly talisman realm, who came from the sky-connecting realm. Other than them, there were also some spectators who came to spectate from afar. When they saw that beautiful silhouette, all of them felt shock in their hearts. This maiden seemed to have an extraordinary relationship with Qin Wentian. In that case, what about the Princess Qing'er whom Qin Wentian was thinking about earlier? Just as they were contemplating, an icy-cold beauty walked over from afar. She walked into the crowd and stared at Mo Qingcheng. This was none other than Qing'er, whom Qin Wentian had used the bell chimes to express his longing for. The two beauties stood together and stared at each other. The atmosphere was somewhat awkward, but to the spectators, this was a beautiful scene. Two beauties with completely different styles stood together, stunning the entire sky-connecting realm. Beside them, there were also beauties like Namhuang Yunxi, Nanfeng Xinga, Baiming Nongyue and Purgatory. As for Hua Xini, she had already faded into the crowd. Qing'er stared at Mo Qingcheng, as her cold eyes flickered, as though she was contemplating something. As for Mo Qingcheng, she was stunned for a moment. Although she already knew of Qing'er's existence, this was the first time they truly stared at each other. After a moment of hesitation, Mo Qingcheng lifted her feet and walked to the side of Qing'er. A beautiful smile appeared on her face, so beautiful that it could topple empires. Elder sister Qing'er. Mo Qingcheng smiled as she called out. Her melodious and beautiful voice seemed to be able to melt the hearts of the people in the surroundings. Qing'er blinked her beautiful eyes. Ripples could be seen in them. When she saw the smile in Mo Qingcheng's eyes, she mustered her courage and stretched out her slender and beautiful hand. Mo Qingcheng's smile grew even more radiant. She also stretched out her hand, and the two of them clasped hands at this moment. It was so natural, like they were sisters who had known each other for many years. Qin Wentian's greatest awkwardness was resolved when he wasn't around. These two beautiful and intelligent beauties gently shook hands, using their magnanimity and passion to resolve the awkwardness. The young man and young woman were acquainted in Chu. They were childhood sweethearts. Their love was stronger than gold, dragging a sword for 100,000 miles, destroying the Pill Emperor Hall, touching the hearts of countless people. The young woman silently protecting him from behind, always appearing when he needed her the most. How many times had she been the one standing in front of him, carrying the body of a great rock on her back as she left? Until one day, for the sake of Chongqing the Great's daughter, he traversed the immortal realms to search for her. How could the feelings between the two of them be described with words? Both of them knew that any one of them was an indispensable part of Qin Wentian's life. They were the people Qin Wentian loved the most. They also deeply understood the sacrifices they had to make for each other. Hence, they held each other's hands tightly. Regardless of the beautiful Mo Qingcheng, or the cold and aloof Chongqing the Great's daughter, from now on, they were sisters. The spectators in the surroundings saw their hands clasped together. At this moment, even a fool would understand what was going on. This simple scene had an extremely great impact on the hearts of the spectators. They couldn't help but feel jealousy towards the young man named Qin Wentian. Although it was normal for supreme geniuses to have many beauties after they matured into immortal kings and emperors, the scene of two beautiful women holding each other's hands was still extremely shocking. That lucky bastard. In the direction of the Namhuang clan, Namhuang Yunxi's beautiful eyes flickered with waves when she saw the scene of the two women holding hands. Hua Xini's heart trembled slightly. How could she not understand that the husband of Mo Qingcheng, who wasn't even worthy to carry Dong Linwu's shoes, might very well be a heaven chosen that even Dong Linwu couldn't afford to antagonize? Only now did she realize that ever since the name Qin Wentian was mentioned, Dong Linwu's expression was no longer so natural. Qin Wentian? Who is he? Hua Xini silently mused. Before this, she had flaunted in front of Mo Qingcheng because Dong Linwu had fallen in love with her. She didn't even hesitate to fall out with Mo Qingcheng and force Mo Qingcheng to serve Dong Linwu. However, she didn't expect that Mo Qingcheng, who had just entered the Sacred Academy, wasn't someone she could afford to offend. What's going on with them? Qing'er's cold eyes stared at Dong Linwu and Hua Xini. Mo Qingcheng glanced at the two of them, her beautiful eyes flashing with disgust. Before this, she still treated Hua Xini as a friend. But after falling out with Hua Xini actually wanted her to serve Dong Linwu. What kind of humiliation was this? Hua Sini even insulted Qin Wentian, saying that it was an honor to carry Dong Linwu's shoes. She didn't expect that people could be so shameless. Luckily, after seeing the ancient characters in the sky, many people immediately rushed over, allowing her to relax. They insulted me and Wentian. Mo Qingqing coldly spoke. The coldness on Qing Er's face grew even colder. However, she had never liked to lecture others. At this moment, an expert from the Battle Saint tribe stepped out and asked Mo Qingqing, "Madam Qin, how do you want to deal with them?" Mo Qingqing had a kind heart. If it was an ordinary matter, she might have forgotten about it. But the words spoken by Hua Sini earlier were simply too shameless. She even wanted to take action against Hua Sini. This was something she couldn't endure. Hence she spoke. "Hua Sini, slap yourself and scram." If Qin Wentian had heard Hua Sini's words earlier and knew of her disgusting thoughts, he would definitely make Hua Sini regret her actions. Linwu. Hua Sini turned her gaze to Dong Linwu. However, Dong Linwu saw that Mo Qingqing didn't vent her anger on him. After all, it was Hua Sini who spoke earlier. He didn't express his stance. Now that he was in such a situation, he didn't want to stay here any longer. "Dong Linwu, why are you still not scramming?" Li Yufeng spoke to Dong Linwu. Dong Linwu's countenance turned ashen. He struggled free from Hua Sini's grasp and spoke, "From now onwards, we no longer have anything to do with each other." After speaking, he directly sped away. Hua Sini's countenance turned pale. Was this the person she wanted so badly? For this, she didn't hesitate to fall out with Mo Qingqing and even forced Mo Qingqing to serve him, just to make him happy, to let him know how good she was. "I'm really despicable." Hua Sini suddenly laughed, ruthlessly slapping herself on the face. Staring at her crazed state, Mo Qingqing spoke, "You can leave." Hua Sini cast a deep glance at Mo Qingqing before she sped away. At this moment, Mo Qingqing inclined her head and stared at Li Yufeng. "Many thanks for your help." "There's no need to thank me, I didn't do anything," Li Yufeng casually spoke. "In addition, if you thank me, how would you view me when I fight against Qin Wentian in the future?" After speaking, Li Yufeng smiled and departed. Nanfeng Nongyue still followed beside him, a pair of immortal companions. "Elder sister Qing, thank you." Mo Qingqing gently smiled. Qing shook her head lightly. "It has already been several years since he entered the sky-connecting immortal rock. I have no idea when he would be able to come out. Let me bring you around the sacred academy to improve your strength." "Okay, I will listen to elder sister." Mo Qingqing smiled and nodded. Upon hearing how Mo Qingqing referred to her, Qing Er's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light. After which, a faint smile appeared on her face. The two of them walked side by side, attracting countless gazes. Qin Wentian had no idea about all this. He was still in the mirror, cultivating his various innate techniques. Regardless of the fiend god heavenly suppression art, immortal vanquishing swordplay, or even true arts in God's hand, all of them were growing stronger bit by bit. In fact, as he fused them together, his combat prowess was unknowingly rising as well. Right now, Qin Wentian didn't cultivate. He was in his treasured cauldron, contemplating the innate techniques of the 8 greater demons. Back then when he fought against Leba, the might of the 8 greater demons was boundless and they actually fused together. Now that he was comprehending them again, he managed to cultivate them to an even higher level. After that, he entered the treasured cauldron and discovered that the 8 techniques within could fuse together, transforming into a towering demonic art that could devour mountains and rivers. At this moment, in Qin Wentian's sea of consciousness, the 8 greater demons roared in rage as their attacks intertwined together, transforming into a demonic tempest. The shadow of a supreme demonic god appeared in the air, its roar shaking mountains and rivers, annihilating the void and devouring the power of time itself. This was a supreme ultimate art. However, Qin Wentian could only observe its form. He had no way to unleash its full power. Chapter 1185. In the 39th year of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, it was rumored that there were some outstanding geniuses in the 4 sacred academies who came into contact with the Gate of Laws. This indicated that there were already people who came in contact with the Immortal King realm. At the very least, they could see the gate leading to the Immortal King realm. This piece of news caused many to feel shock in their hearts. Although the Tiandao Sacred Academy was filled with miracles, and the geniuses all had great improvements, the stronger one was, the harder it would be for them to break through. As for the gate between Immortal Foundation and Immortal King, it was like a heavenly chasm. In the vast immortal realms, there were countless Immortal Foundation cultivators. In many major cities of the Immortal Realms, one could see a sea of people at the Immortal Foundation realm. However, there weren't many Immortal Kings. It was unknown how many stellar martial cultivators were obstructed by this gate. Immortal Kings could be considered experts in the Immortal Realms. In a small city, they would be able to rule over an entire prefecture and establish their own power. Only in the supreme cities of the Immortal Realms, Immortal Kings could be seen everywhere. If one wanted to break through from Immortal Foundation to Immortal King, they had to experience the baptism of time. In addition, time alone was far from enough. Hence, even though there were only people who came in contact with the gate leading to the Immortal King realm in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, it was still extremely shocking. In the 40th year of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the quota for the Sacred Academy was already filled, and there were no longer any more candidates to join the Sacred Academy. It was already extremely dangerous for Mo Qingqing to enter the Sacred Academy 2 years ago. If she was 2 years later, she wouldn't have the chance to enter at all. However, after entering the Sacred Academy, Mo Qingqing experienced the baptism of the various secret realms in the Sacred Academy. With Qing'er bringing her along, Mo Qingqing's improvement was extremely great. Although she didn't break through, her comprehension of Immortal Foundation grew deeper, and her cultivation base was also extremely stable. It was just that these two beauties still had a worry in their hearts. That silhouette who entered the sky connecting Immortal Rock had yet to exit. In the 40th year of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the geniuses that entered the Sacred Academy grew stronger and stronger. It was rumored that there were already quite a few who came in contact with the gate leading to the Immortal King realm. Right now, in the vast Sacred Academy, there were very few geniuses at the lower 3 levels of Immortal Foundation. The lower one's cultivation base, the easier it was to improve. The Tiandao Sacred Academy already had a history of 40 years. Other than those who entered the Sacred Academy very late or those with weaker talent, the other geniuses all had great improvements. Namhuang Yunxi and the other experts of the Namhuang clan were naturally the same as well. At this moment, several beauties of the Namhuang clan were walking together. Purgatory and Little Rascal were here as well. Purgatory was formed from the spirit of the vermilion bird, and had a mutual affinity with the experts of the Namhuang clan, who possessed the phoenix bloodline. The holy maidens of the Namhuang clan also liked her, hence, they decided to stay by her side. As for Little Rascal, Qing'er and Mo Qingqing both cruelly abandoned him. He could only depend on Purgatory and the beauties of the Southern Phoenix clan. Beauty Yunxi, do you know why this Baobao is following you? The group of them walked around the Sacred Academy, tempering themselves in various ruins. Little Rascal lay on Namhuang Yunxi's shoulder as he asked. You don't know? Namhuang Yunxi shook her head lightly. Because I feel that you are very lonely. The feeling of having a crush on someone is simply too unbearable. This Baobao understands. Little Rascal let out a long sigh as he spoke. His squinted eyes seemed to be filled with an unfathomable depth as he stared into the air. Pack! A slap directly slammed into him. Namhuang Yunxi directly sent him flying through the air. However, Little Rascal's skin was extremely thick. His snow-white body flashed as he ran back into the embrace of the beauty Nanfeng Shunga as he mumbled. Honest demons always get injured easily. Just shut your mouth. The beauty Nanfeng Shunga glared at Little Rascal. However, with this clown around, they were much happier. Although Little Rascal's claws were always a little dishonest, he was simply too adorable. Hence, the beauties all allowed him to take advantage of them. At this moment, the beauties didn't know that there were 2 rows of silhouettes standing on top of an ancient peak in the distance. One of the silhouettes was clad in a black cloak, exuding a dangerous aura. Their gazes were cold and sharp, exuding a dangerous aura. The other group was actually experts from the White Tiger people. Among them, Bai Mao of the White Tiger people was among them. You White Tiger people are truly trash, always saying that you want the beauties of the Namhuang clan to give birth to cubs for you. Right now, the beauties of the Namhuang clan are still as good as before, but I heard that a few of your white tigers have fallen, and one of them was even roasted in front of everyone. Even the royal Bai Mao was roasted by Qin Wentian and the other Namhuang clan members in the sky-connecting realm. If this was in the external world, I'm afraid he would have already become roasted meat and entered Qin Wentian's stomach. A mocking voice rang out from the mouth of a black-cloaked expert, containing a hint of humiliation. The White Tiger people roared in a low voice, filled with rage. It's a good thing to be angry. This means that you White Tiger people still know shame. This matter is known by everyone in the Sacred Academy. In the future, when you exit this Tiandao Sacred Academy, the reputation of the White Tiger people will be tarnished sooner or later. I merely said some unpleasant words. If you are angry, it's best not to direct it at us. That person continued. Bai Mao's expression was extremely heavy. He knew that the words of the other party were the truth. If the White Tiger people didn't wash away their shame, they would forever be the laughingstock of the world. In the future, even if they exit the Sacred Academy, the humiliation the White Tiger people, would still spread out and become a laughingstock. What do you guys want to do? Bai Mao coldly spoke, his tone filled with unfriendliness. He knew who these people were. The Tiandao Sacred Academy was divided into 4 parts. One of the Sacred Academy was where the majority of the demonic races gathered, including the White Tiger people. As for the other Sacred Academy, there were many devil cultivators. These people before him were none other than devil cultivators from the myriad devil islands. Countless years ago, immortals, demons, and devils were all cultivators and lived evenly in the immortal realms. However, because of their different philosophies, it was easy for conflicts to erupt. As time flowed on, the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms became what it was today. The vast majority of the regions were places for human cultivators to cultivate. Devil cultivators resided in the vast myriad devil islands. There were many demonic races in the southern regions, and there was also the desolate 10,000 mountain range in the north. Each of them had their own territory, and would often interact with each other. However, devil cultivators were still devil cultivators. They had some similarities with the demonic races. They loved battle and hated danger. It was rumored that the myriad devil islands were under the control of the myriad devil sovereign, and the laws they worshipped were extremely cruel. The strong would live, the weak would die. The devil cultivator in the lead seemed very young. His eyes were cold and sharp, like blades. He then spoke. You guys have suffered such humiliation. Don't you want to teach the Namhuang clan an unforgettable lesson? It's rumored that the demonic races are lascivious in nature. I want to see for myself. I want you guys to infuriate them and make them issue a life and death challenge. At that time, we will act to avenge your White Tiger people, washing away the humiliation. Why would you be so kind? Bai Mao coldly laughed. What do you want? The devil cultivators of the myriad devil islands wouldn't do meaningless things. As for helping them take revenge, if there were no benefits, would it be possible? That little demon, no one is allowed to touch him. He is mine. The young man pointed his finger ahead as he coldly spoke. In his palm, a terrifying blood-colored vortex manifested, engulfing the entire space. You want to devour that little demon? The rules of the Sacred Academy cannot be broken. How do you know that the Sacred Academy would allow a life and death challenge? Bai Mao's voice was ice cold. You guys have cultivated in the Sacred Academy for so long. Have you never issued a life and death challenge before? Don't worry, devil cultivators love to battle. We have already fought many life and death battles in the Sacred Academy. When the weaker party is humiliated and requests a life and death challenge from the Sacred Academy, the rules of the Sacred Academy would allow it to happen. You guys only need to infuriate the Namhuang clan. Let's hope you are right. An expert from the White Tiger King race spoke. After that, he let out a low roar as his silhouette flashed. The experts from the White Tiger people all sped away. With the opening of the Sacred Academy, the era of ancient emperors has begun. In that case, the future ancient emperor must be me. The eyes of the young man from the White Tiger race gleamed with sharpness. At this moment, the experts from the Namhuang clan still had no idea that someone was plotting against them. Back then in the sky-connecting realm, Qin Wentian's domineering battle shocked the other major powers, causing them to come to a truce and no longer harass the other party. The experts from the Namhuang clan also had many years of peace. They continued to cultivate in the Sacred Academy and improved greatly. However, their wariness gradually weakened as well. Strolling around the Sacred Academy, they were still chatting happily, completely unaware that danger was approaching them. Careful! At this moment, a powerful holy successor of the Namhuang clan suddenly felt that something was wrong. After that, her immortal sense extended outwards as her countenance drastically changed. The White Tiger people are attacking. Prepare for battle. She snorted coldly. After that, a terrifying baleful aura transformed into a raging storm that pressed down on this space. Thunderous rumbling sounds shook the heavens and earth, and there were faint signs of the heavens collapsing and the earth shattering. After that, everyone saw numerous experts of the White Tiger race rushing over in their true forms. Have these bastards gone mad? The beauties from the Namhuang clan frowned. They actually transformed into their true forms and rushed over. Their powerful auras instantly erupted forth as the shadow of phoenixes flashed unceasingly, bathing in the flames of phoenixes. Phoenix feathers could be seen on their backs, exuding an incomparably resplendent beauty. Roar, roar, roar! The White Tiger people rushed over. Their earth-shattering roars contained a destructive might as the shadow of white tigers rushed over. The experts from the Namhuang clan waved their fingers as the ancient phoenixes soared up into the sky, slaying the shadow of the white tiger. Roar! An incomparably gigantic 9th-level white tiger greater demon rushed over. It opened its mouth wide, wanting to devour all the holy maidens. Let me deal with this vile beast. A powerful saintess soared into the air. The phantom of the phoenix grew larger and larger, blotting out the sun. She let out a shout, and instantly, balls of flame shot up into the sky, flying towards the mouth of the saintess. In other directions, the other gigantic existences also launched their attacks. The experts of the White Tiger people in the Sacred Academy all came out in full force. For the sake of avoiding the conflict in the Sacred Academy, the beauties from the Namhuang clan all moved together. But at this moment, they all felt a stifling pressure. The White Tiger people had gone crazy. They wanted to fight them to the death. Careful! At this moment, a holy maiden from the Namhuang clan roared. Bai Mao sacrificed an expert of the White Tiger people, abandoning his own opponent, allowing the other White Tiger to face the attacks of the two holy maidens. He himself lunged towards a holy maiden with a speed as fast as lightning. The holy maiden he chose was a 6th-level Immortal Foundation holy maiden. Bai Mao's terrifying claws stretched out through the air, smashing down. That holy maiden was in the midst of battle. How could she endure such a sudden attack? Her body was directly grabbed by the claws of the white tiger. After that, she only saw Bai Mao fleeing far away. Chapter 1186. Release her. The Namhuang clan experts were shocked. They had also injured the companion Bai Mao abandoned earlier. That white tiger people expert was knocked to the ground. The phoenix flames enveloped his body, as though he could be incinerated at any moment. Chi! A tearing sound rang out. Bai Mao's sharp claws directly tore off the clothes of the holy maiden he captured, revealing her beautiful jade-like skin, causing the holy maiden's countenance to turn as pale as paper. Vile beast! The Namhuang clan expert roared in rage. His wings slashed down, slamming into the white tiger on the ground, causing fresh blood to flow. It's useless even if you torture him. Bai Mao coldly spoke. The experts of the white tiger people actually retreated together, blocking the frenzied attacks of the Namhuang clan. Bai Mao's sharp claws ruthlessly slashed at the body of the holy maiden. That holy maiden struggled madly. How could her delicate body withstand the terrifying claws of a white tiger? Her entire body turned red from the pressure. What do you want to do? The experts of the Namhuang clan had unsightly expressions on their faces. This time the white tiger people were so crazy, they actually didn't mind sacrificing their companions to deal with them. Such an action was simply unreasonable. Although the White Tiger people were despicable, they were still very united. If not, the White Tiger people wouldn't have been able to stand tall in the western regions. Naturally, I'm bringing her to give birth to white tiger cubs. Bai Mao coldly laughed. His other claw stretched out, caressing the skin of that holy maiden, angering the experts of the Namhuang clan to the point of frenzy. For a period of time, the entire sky was engulfed in flames. The holy maiden of the Namhuang clan has the blood of the ancient phoenix. Such a beauty with skin as smooth as jade. Back then, your Namhuang clan roasted the people of my tribe. Today we shall bring this holy maiden away and let my tribesmen enjoy her. After speaking, the white tiger turned and left. The experts of the white tiger people retreated together. Chase. The members of the Namhuang clan had a drastic change in their expressions as they chased after Wang Xian in a frenzy. Their bodies were engulfed in raging flames. The holy maiden of the Namhuang clan, who was captured by Bai Mao, was as pale as a sheet. Her beautiful eyes flashed with ruthlessness, and her entire body was suddenly ignited with endless phoenix fire. In an instant it enveloped her body, burning her body. The scorching phoenix fire caused Bai Mao's palm to sizzle, as though it was about to ignite. He loosened his grip and threw the holy maiden to the ground. His expression changed slightly. The experts of the Namhuang clan exclaimed in shock. They chased after Namfeng Chun, causing the expressions of the white tiger people to turn incredibly unsightly. They recalled the rumors of the Namhuang clan. The blood of the ancient phoenix, the blood of nirvanic rebirth. Right now, the droplets of phoenix blood floating in the air. Were they the blood of nirvanic rebirth? Namfeng Chun's entire body glowed with a towering blood-colored light, appearing extremely tragic. Her immortal foundation began to burn amidst the intense flames. Boom! Namfeng Chun's burning body transformed into a terrifying phoenix shadow that shot towards Bai Mao. At this instant, even Bai Mao felt his heart trembling. With a roar of rage, he retreated explosively. The other powerful white tiger roared, shaking the heavens and earth, causing Namfeng Chun to cough out blood. Her beautiful eyes stared at Bai Mao, filled with reluctance. After that, she turned her attention to the white tiger people captured by the Namhuang clan. Her silhouette flickered as she rushed over. Chun, the expression of the holy maiden who captured the white tiger changed. After that, she seemed to understand Namfeng Chun's determination. She flung the white tiger away and Namfeng Chun's silhouette descended. Phoenix flames directly enveloped the white tiger, burning it as its screams of agony rang out, attracting the attention of many experts from afar. That powerful white tiger was about to be roasted alive. At this instant, Namfeng Chun no longer cared about the rules of the Sacred Academy and launched a fatal attack. She has already undergone nirvanic rebirth. What else did she have to fear? The experts of the white tiger people stepped out. The experts of the Namhuang clan also stepped out, radiating killing intent as they blocked the path. Kill! A roar of rage rang out as the flames incinerated everything. That white tiger wasn't roasted alive, it was burnt to ashes instead. At the same time, Namfeng Chun transformed into a beam of blood-colored light, flying towards a holy maiden of the Namhuang clan. That holy maiden stretched her hand out. Namfeng Chun had already vanished, transforming into a droplet of nirvanic rebirth blood. One could faintly see Namfeng Chun's silhouette within the translucent droplet of blood. She held the droplet of blood tightly as an intense killing intent flashed in her eyes. Terrifying tribulation clouds appeared in the sky as supreme law energy descended, enveloping this entire area. Regardless of the auras of the Namhuang clan, or the white tiger people, all of them seemed extremely insignificant under this pressure. Namfeng Chun was forced to transform into a droplet of blood. Before this, she spared no expense to kill a white tiger. In that case, who was the one who violated the rules of the Sacred Academy? Or could it be that both parties violated the rules? At this instant, everyone in the Sacred Academy could see the law energy condensing in the air. It was as though a terrifying face had appeared there, a face formed from the rage of the law energy. Since you all disregard the rules of the Sacred Academy, fine. Under the rules of the Sacred Academy, both of you can kill each other in a battle within the Tiandao Sacred Academy. In fact, for those who participate in the battle, you can also kill each other. You are not restricted by the rules of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Are you satisfied now? An enraged voice rang out, reverberating through the entire Tiandao Sacred Academy, causing countless people to sigh in admiration. Who exactly was it that caused the rage of the Sacred Academy? To think that both sides were no longer restricted by the rules of the Sacred Academy, allowing both sides to kill each other. Although the people of the Sacred Academy were restricted by the rules, they understood that the rules of the Sacred Academy were there to protect the geniuses of the Sacred Academy from dying. If not, if both sides were allowed to kill each other, the Sacred Academy would become a place of purgatory for many geniuses. Now that the rules of the Sacred Academy allowed both sides to kill each other, it was clear that many people from both sides who had a grudge against each other would lose their lives. This was something that the experts of the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people were well aware of. Such an outcome had even exceeded the expectations of the experts of the White Tiger people. They originally thought that once the Namhuang clan was completely enraged, a battle platform would appear for them to fight each other. However, under the rage of the Sacred Academy, there was no battle platform. As long as they were still in the Sacred Academy, they would not rest until one of them was dead. Even the powerful White Tiger people felt fear at this moment. If the Namhuang clan joined forces with Qin Wentian and the others to hunt down the White Tiger people, they would be in dire straits, unless they could also find an ally. In the distance, among a group of black-cloaked figures approaching, a young man revealed a cold smile. Although the outcome was somewhat unexpected, it was fine. What he wanted couldn't escape. Protect me. It's enough for me to take down that demonic beast. There's no need to bother about their battle. The young man calmly spoke as he slowly moved closer. They weren't in a hurry. The battle between the White Tiger people and the Namhuang clan had just erupted. It would undoubtedly be much easier for them to appear when the battle between the White Tiger people and the Namhuang clan began. How crazy! If many of the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan and the experts of the White Tiger people died in the Sacred Academy, wouldn't a war erupt between the White Tiger people and the Namhuang clan in the outside world? A person at the side laughed evilly. He was filled with anticipation for the war between the demons and the Namhuang clan. The more intense the battle, the better. At this moment, the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people were in a frenzied battle. Namhuang Yunshi, Purgatory and Little Rascal were fighting together. At this moment, Little Rascal had transformed into a golden-winged great rock. His entire body seemed to be made from gold. And when his sharp claws slashed out, a terrifying golden vortex appeared. Do it! The group of black-caped figures increased their speed, rushing towards the battlefield. Boundless devil might gushed forth, exuding a terrifying pressure. Bai Mao roared. Kill all of them here. Bai Mao understood that in order to avoid future troubles, it would be best for them to kill the experts of the Namhuang clan first. However, the group of Devil Path experts didn't seem to have heard his words. They continued rushing towards the direction of Namhuang Yunshi. Be careful over there. The experts of the Namhuang clan all turned pale with fright as despair appeared on their faces. Did the heavens want to annihilate their Namhuang clan? There was actually a group of Devil Path experts joining the battle. At this moment, the experts of the Namhuang clan were already suppressed by the White Tiger people. The experts from the myriad Devil Islands continued to crush them, their attacks breaking through everything as they rushed towards the direction of Namhuang Yunshi. Yunshi, be careful. Someone warned. Namhuang Yunshi retreated, but to her astonishment, she discovered that those Devil Path experts didn't even bother to look at her. They were still rushing forward, aiming for Little Rascal. Little Rascal! Namhuang Yunshi shouted. Little Rascal's eyes flashed. He saw the cloak of the person in the lead slipping down, revealing a devilish face. He directly soared into the air, wanting to flee. Boom! The experts from the myriad Devil Islands soared up into the air. A terrifying devil palm imprint blotted out the sky as it slammed over. A thunderous boom rang out as cracks appeared on Little Rascal's golden body as he coughed out fresh blood. Namhuang Yunshi paled. Little Rascal was Qin Wentian's companion. If something happened to him here, how would she answer to Qin Wentian? But at this moment, There was simply nothing she could do to save little rascal. Be careful, I want him alive. The young man coldly spoke. Emocia, it's Emocia. Nam Huangyunshi also clearly saw the young man in the lead. Back then in the city of ancient emperors, everyone only knew that Emocia was someone from the myriad devil islands, and had an extraordinary status. But because the people of the immortal realms weren't familiar with the myriad devil islands, no one knew who Emocia was exactly. But since he dared to kill Zidaoyang, the son of Zidi, one could very well imagine how ruthless he was. Little rascal roared and fled with all his might. However, although Emocia's cultivation base wasn't very high, he had many powerful characters around him. Another palm imprint blasted out, shattering little rascal's wings. Emocia moved closer step by step as boundless heavenly devil tribulation might envelop little rascal, resembling chains that bound little rascal's body. A sinister smile flickered in Emocia's eyes. Finally, another inheritance was going to be in his hands. He was extremely interested in the complete inheritance of the Brahma Heavenly Emperor. The Sky Devil chains abruptly manifested countless devil runes that seeped into little rascal's body. Emocia abruptly drew in a deep breath as a terrifying devil might enveloped little rascal. After that, Emocia's devil palms slammed into little rascal's body. Chapter 1187. Boom. As the palm landed, countless devil runes coiled around little rascal. Instantly, terrifying black runes appeared on the body of the golden-winged great rock, seeping into his body unceasingly. These devil runes contained a fearsome, corrosive, and destructive might, even causing crackling sounds to echo out. It was like a heavenly devil tribulation, capable of shattering even the toughest of defenses. At this moment, the aura from Little Rascal actually flowed towards Emocia. Roar! Little Rascal let out a terrifying roar of rage. His body abruptly shrank, transforming into a tiny rock that shot out with lightning speed, evading Emocia's attack. Emocia's countenance drastically changed. This bastard's defense was truly strong. Even after enduring so many attacks from the devil palms, he still had the strength to flee. Not only that, he seemed to have the ability to transform into a myriad of forms, only to see several devil cultivators standing guard in all directions. With a wave of their palms, a layer of terrifying sky devil chains directly locked down this space. Little Rascal's body directly slammed into the sky devil barrier, and was directly struck by the terrifying might of the barrier, causing him to scream in agony as fresh blood flowed from his wounds. You still want to flee? Emocia coldly spoke. First, he made use of the White Tiger people, causing the White Tiger people to fight against the Namhuang clan. After that, he led his people to attack. Yet he still allowed a mere demonic beast to flee? That was truly a humiliation to him. Purgatory transformed into a vermilion bird and rushed over. However, the devil cultivators from the myriad devil islands were all gathered together, allowing Purgatory to ram into the sky devil barrier. With a thunderous boom, Purgatory was directly flung through the air as she coughed out fresh blood. Even if the devil cultivators didn't attack, it was impossible for her to break through the barrier. This scene caused Purgatory to turn pale. Staring at Little Rascal who was madly struggling within the sky devil barrier, despair filled her heart. And right now the experts from the Namhuang clan were being fiercely attacked by the White Tiger people. They had no time to care about what was happening here. Little Rascal was still struggling bitterly, but there was no way for him to escape. The injuries on his body grew heavier and heavier, and Emocia's sky devil chains once again wrapped around his body, as Emocia's palm slammed downwards. No. Purgatory rushed out once more, only to see the expert from the myriad devil islands turning around and coldly glancing at her. With a wave of his hand, a heavenly devil palm imprint slammed down, directly grabbing onto Purgatory's gigantic body. Since this is the case, you can become my nourishment as well. As he spoke, he grabbed Purgatory's body and threw it towards the heavenly demon barrier. Stop! A cold voice rang out. That devil expert from the myriad devil islands frowned. His eyes gleamed with devilish light as he stared in the direction of the voice. After that, his eyes narrowed as he stared at the silhouette flying in his direction. This group of people were similarly clad in devil robes, exuding an incomparably cold aura. This was especially so for the expert in the lead. Under her long robes fluttered in the wind, there was a blood-colored armor that stuck closely to her body, exuding a sense of imposingness. Her slender figure, gentle and beautiful figure, as well as those perfect curves, one could tell that she was a female with a single glance. Also, given her figure, she was definitely a beauty. The woman's long hair draped over her shoulders, and she wore an incomparably beautiful blood-red laurel crown on her head, which perfectly accentuated her temperament. The only regrettable thing was that her tight-fitting armor had a pointed mask protruding from her collar, which covered her face below her eyes. Only her beautiful eyes revealed a frighteningly cold light, as if she was the daughter of a demon god, peerless in the world. Behind her, there was also a group of experts from the myriad devil islands. When the experts surrounding Little Rascal saw her, a strange light flashed in their eyes, as well as hints of reverence. But even so, they didn't stop their attacks. Impudent. Only to see a terrifying figure beside that woman stepping out, exuding a majestic devil might. Only then did those experts stop. A moment later, the heavenly demon barrier vanished. Wuxia stared at that woman, but his hand didn't lower down. It was still holding on to the heavily injured Little Rascal. Release me. That woman stared at Wuxia. There were no emotions in her eyes as she coldly spoke. Wuxia didn't release his hand. His expression was cold as he stared at the woman. What qualifications do you have to interfere in my matters? Because I'm the priestess of the Judiciary Hall. The woman's voice was as cold as ever. Although you are the priestess of the Judiciary Hall, I'm the devil child of the Sky Devil Hall. I've never violated the rules of the devil path. What qualifications does the Judiciary Hall have to interfere in the matters of my Sky Devil Hall? Wuxia's voice was ice cold as he questioned. Under the Judiciary Hall, who would dare to disobey? The woman's voice was solemn, containing an extreme coldness within. As the sound of her voice faded, the experts from the myriad devil islands all stepped out as a fearsome power of the Judiciary Hall gushed forth, causing the expressions of the experts beside Wuxia to turn extremely unsightly. This bunch of blood-sucking bastards. They silently cursed in their hearts. The myriad devil islands was the world of devil cultivators. Devil cultivators were tyrannical and cold, but they also had respect for them. Those fellows from the Judiciary Hall, as long as they appeared, there would definitely be a storm of blood. It was unknown how many supreme experts from the devil sects died under the Judiciary Hall. They were existences that caused people to tremble in fear just by hearing their names. Hence, there was a saying in the myriad devil islands. When the Judiciary Hall appears, the devil sects will cry. Under the Judiciary Hall, even the devil infants wouldn't dare to cry. What a despicable woman. Wuxia mocked in his heart, yet he didn't say this out loud. If he said this, these people from the Judiciary Hall would directly act against him. He had no doubts about this. However, he still felt that this woman was despicable. It was only because of her heaven-defying luck that she managed to obtain the Judiciary Hall's inheritance. Some of the devil arts in the myriad devil islands were extremely tyrannical. They were different from many immortal cultivators in the immortal realms. There were some tyrannical arts that could be imbued into one's body, allowing one to undergo a complete transformation. This woman's background was unknown. It was because of her good luck that she obtained the inheritance and directly became the judiciary priestess the moment she entered the myriad devil islands. The devil child of my Sky Devil Hall is doing things outside to strengthen himself. Why is the judiciary priestess interfering? How would Wuxia give up so easily? He continued to question. The Judiciary Hall is the Judiciary Hall. Is there a need for an explanation? The voice of the woman grew even colder. As the sound of her voice faded, the people around her all moved towards Wuxia. Those experts from the Sky Devil Hall wanted to move, but they only heard the woman coldly speaking. You all know the consequences for daring to act against the people of the Judiciary Priestess. Wuxia's people halted their steps as their expressions turned unsightly. Wuxia's countenance turned even colder. The killing intent in his eyes was unmasked. He stared at the woman and coldly spoke. Fine, I will release him. Consider yourself lucky. Let's hope that you will still be this lucky next time. Wuxia stared at Little Rascal as he spoke. After that, he tossed Little Rascal away. Purgatory's silhouette flashed as she caught Little Rascal's body. Under the might of the heavenly devil barrier, Little Rascal was heavily injured. Wuxia coldly glanced at the woman before waving his hand. Leave. As he spoke, he actually no longer bothered with the battle between the White Tiger people and the Namhuang clan. He wanted to leave. You guys have already participated in this battle. This means that under the rules of the Sacred Academy, you guys are not protected. The Namhuang clan can kill you all. If you don't eradicate the Namhuang clan, do you really intend to leave just like that? Bai Mao roared as he fought. These bastards from the Myriad Devil Islands basically had no intentions of helping them. They were purely making use of them for the sake of that demonic beast. Wuxia completely ignored Bai Mao and directly brought his people away. His mood was extremely bad, extremely bad. He didn't want to see that woman right now, or he wouldn't be able to control his urge to kill her. As for the devil child of the Sky Devil Hall, it was naturally impossible for him to publicly kill the priestess of the Judiciary Devil Hall. Hence, he could only leave this place. This bunch of untrustworthy bastards. Bai Mao was incomparably enraged. The people from the Myriad Devil Islands were truly despicable and shameless devil cultivators. Retreat. The experts from the White Tiger people roared. They were in a stalemate with the Namhuang clan, and the attitude of these devil cultivators from the Myriad Devil Islands was unclear. They stopped Wuxia and seemed to be standing on the side of the other party. This was definitely a sign of danger. At this moment, it was clear that the White Tiger people wouldn't take the risk. Right now, the rules of the Sacred Academy allowed them to kill. The experts from the White Tiger people retreated. The Namhuang clan frenziedly attacked, but they didn't pursue. At this moment, there were several holy maidens from the Namhuang clan who suffered varying degrees of injuries. But luckily none of them died. If the battle continued, there would surely be holy maidens who died. This was clearly a situation they didn't want to see. Chun'er. The holy maidens of the Namhuang clan gathered before one of the holy maidens. Chun'er transformed into nirvanic blood. She would definitely be able to be reborn. Let's talk about it after we return to the Namhuang clan. As for whether she can make a comeback, that would depend on her good fortune. That holy maiden spoke. For the nirvanic blood of the Namhuang clan to be able to preserve her life, it was already an extremely heaven-defying method. Everyone nodded lightly. Namhuang Yunshi came to the side of Purgatory. She stared at the heavily injured Little Rascal and spoke. Let's go to the Sky Connecting Realm. Purgatory nodded. Right now, going to the Sky Connecting Realm was the safest option. If they stayed in the Sacred Academy, who knew if the White Tiger people would find people who had a grudge against their Namhuang clan and kill them? Purgatory inclined her head and stared at the priestess of the Myriad Devil Islands. Thank you. The priestess glanced at Purgatory before she turned and departed, not leaving behind a single word. Namhuang Yunshi felt a little strange, but she didn't think too much about it. She then followed the experts of the Namhuang clan and sped towards the Sky Connecting Realm. In the Sky Connecting Realm, in the direction of the Tongtian Heaven Stone, there would be many experts coming here every day, wanting to see if there were any changes to the Supreme Might rankings. During these years, there were quite a few people who managed to ascend to the top of the rankings. However, nobody knew exactly who was stronger and who was weaker. Most probably, they would only know after they fought against each other. It was rumored that the few who stood at the very peak had already come into contact with the gate leading to the Immortal King realm. It was unknown how terrifying their strength was. And right now in the second level of the Sky Connecting Realm, Qin Wentian was still cultivating there. He spent his days in front of the mirror screen and at the end, he already had the ability to evolve his innate techniques. It was like as long as he had an innate technique in his hands, he would be able to find the direction to cultivate it to the extreme. As he slowly explored, his innate techniques grew stronger and stronger. In fact, he even discovered many unique offensive techniques that could unleash terrifying might. During these years, although his cultivation base didn't increase, his combat prowess definitely rose to another level. Chapter 1188. In the Tiandao Sacred Academy, many experts tried to find out why the rules of the Sacred Academy were angered. After that, they learned that the reason why the Sacred Academy was angered was because the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people disregarded the rules of the Sacred Academy during the battle. A saintess of the Namhuang clan underwent nirvana, and an expert of the White Tiger people was killed. Both of these actions went against the rules of the Sacred Academy. Hence, the Sacred Academy decided to punish them. From now on, the grudges between the White Tiger people and the Namhuang clan could be resolved by killing each other. They would no longer be protected by the rules of the Sacred Academy. During the battle, it was rumored that there were two major powers from the myriad Devil Islands that participated. However, what was interesting was that these two major powers had different standpoints, and there was actually some friction between them. Also, these two major powers were extremely powerful, and were rumored to be important characters in the myriad Devil Islands. One of them was the Devil's Son while the other was a priestess. Naturally, the geniuses in the Sacred Academy didn't know the exact division of powers in the myriad Devil Islands. Maybe the elders in their sects or clans would know some things about the myriad Devil Islands. Back then in the Sacred Academy, Qin Wentian domineeringly killed Bai Mao, oppressed Huang Yudi, and defeated the Son of Thunder, Leiba, issuing a truce. From then on, the conflicts between the various major powers were temporarily suppressed and didn't erupt. Who would have thought that the White Tiger people finally couldn't hold it in any longer? The moment they erupted, it was so violent that even the rules of the Sacred Academy gave up on them. In this case, I'm afraid many geniuses would die in the Sacred Academy. Many people who knew about the grudges of the past were thinking in their hearts. Many major powers participated in that battle. Now, as long as they participated in the battle between the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people, they would be able to engage in a life-and-death battle. Without a doubt, this would affect all major powers. All major powers would stand up once again and prepare for a war of slaughter. The truth was just as everyone had guessed. The insufferably arrogant White Tiger people, after that battle, began to run around the Sacred Academy. They found the 9 Emperor's immortal states Huang Yudi, and after that, they contacted the Lightning Divine Palace's Leiba. It seemed as though they were preparing to form a terrifying alliance. In the past, the White Tiger people had always viewed humans as lowly and insufferably arrogant. They ruled over the western regions of the immortal realm, treated the human Wuxia as their servant, toyed with human beauties, and treated humans as their mounts and slaves. Who would dare to disobey them? However, in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the White Tiger people suffered setbacks time and time again. They were roasted alive by Qin Wentian and eaten alive, causing several White Tigers of their clan to fall. Bai Mao was even trampled on and completely defeated by Qin Wentian. Their confidence suffered a blow time and time again, to the point where they completely put down their pride and took the initiative to form an alliance with humans. Back then in the battle in front of the Shizhong Wall, there were many powers who participated in it. Many experts pursued Qin Wentian, including the 9 Emperor's immortal states Prince Huang Dangtian, as well as the geniuses and Zidi's followers of the Supreme Sword School. All of them had gone missing and had yet to reappear. Most probably, they had already died. Although they didn't know what exactly happened, they believed that it definitely had something to do with Qin Wentian. Hence, this time, with the White Tiger people taking the lead, all the major powers quickly came to a consensus, and that was to kill Qin Wentian. This brat had to die. Huang Yudi hated Qin Wentian to the bone. Naturally, he wanted to kill him as soon as possible. Only by standing on the side of the White Tiger people could they kill Qin Wentian. Because they knew that Qin Wentian would definitely help the Namhuang clan. Then the rules of the Sacred Academy wouldn't protect him. Zidi's people, Tenlon Heaven Kingdom's people, Supreme Sword School's people, and even the disciples of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor's sect all came out. Previously, because they were alone, they didn't dare to provoke Qin Wentian's group. Now that they had strong reinforcements, they also joined in, preparing to take Qin Wentian's life. This alliance had already taken shape after many days, transforming into a terrifying army. Such a huge commotion naturally couldn't be hidden from the eyes and ears of the experts of the Sacred Academy, causing many people to feel shocked. This was the first time under the rules of the Sacred Academy that a life-and-death battle was allowed to occur without a specific location. Most probably, this would be the largest battle ever in the history of the Sacred Academy. Such a terrifying commotion. How could the people of the Namhuang clan in the sky-connecting realm not know about it? They were all faintly worried, but luckily, the Battle Saint tribe, GD's followers, the geniuses of the Evergreen Kingdom, as well as the disciples of the immortal Qianbian Gate from the Heavenly Talisman realm also gathered in the sky-connecting realm, preparing to deal with this impending storm. These two terrifying powers both contained shocking strength. The 3 monks from the Wenxin Temple also came to the sky-connecting realm. However, they didn't express that they would stand on the side of the Namhuang clan. After all, to the 3 monks from the Wenxin Temple, they didn't have a deep relationship with Qin Wentian. There was no need for them to participate in this life-and-death battle. In addition, everyone knew that there was a peak character on the side of the 9 Emperors' immortal state. Although he hasn't appeared yet, no one knew if he would participate in this battle or not. Huang Shaishan's existence was too great of a threat. During the battle back then, he fought against 5 powerful experts. During these years, he had been busy with his cultivation, and it's said that he has already peaked at the gate to the immortal king realm. He was one of the strongest people in the Sacred Academy. On the Supreme Might rankings above the sky-connecting immortal rock, the silhouettes of many experts could be seen. Qin Wentian was still there. Other than him, Huang Shatian was also one of them. There were over 10 people on the Supreme Might rankings. Other than the 1st level to 8th level of Immortal Foundation, there were quite a few experts at the 9th level, including Huang Shatian. They were the true experts that stood at the peak of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. On the side of the Tongtian Heaven Stone, the experts from the Namhuang clan sat cross-legged on the stone pillars. Everyone in the surroundings understood that this was merely the momentary calm before the storm. At this moment, more and more experts arrived, bringing with them the sound of whistling wind as they stood far away, staring at this scene. The experts from the various major powers all arrived. The experts from the Sunluo Immortal Empire, the Ashi Sengoku Kingdom, the greater demons of the Tianping people. And at this moment, the experts sitting on the stone pillars knew that they have arrived. Only when they attacked would these experts come to spectate the battle. However, this space was still so quiet that it was terrifying. Ba, this monk loves liveliness the most. A Buddhist chant rang out as 3 monks appeared. These were none other than the 3 monks from the Wenxin Temple, causing expressions of interest to appear on the faces of everyone. Would the 3 monks from the Wenxin Temple participate in this battle? Interesting. Who would win this battle? The Prince of the Shooting Sun Kingdom asked his royal sister. The White Tiger People's Alliance ultimately didn't wait for Huang Shatian to act. Huang Shatian and Qin Wentian are both cultivating in the 2nd level of the sky-connecting realm. Most probably, they have no idea that such a huge battle would occur in the outside world. As for victory or defeat, it's hard to say. If the 3 monks from the Wenxin Temple participate, there would be a 50-50 chance of victory. Naturally, the prerequisite is that there are no other variables. After all, no one knows if there would be other major powers participating. What a pity, that fellow hasn't come out yet. Li Yufeng stood together with Baiming Nongyue. Even if he came out, he wouldn't be able to affect the overall situation. Baiming Nongyue's voice was extremely moving. If this battle occurs in the sky-connecting realm, it would give both sides a buffer and wouldn't be fatal. After all, the deaths of many people from both sides might attract the attention of the peak powers in the immortal realms. I believe that the person the White Tiger people want to kill the most is none other than him. They should first defeat these people, and when he appears, it would be much easier to kill him. In the direction of the Jiang clan, Jiang Ziyu grew stronger and stronger. His eyes could see through everything. Staring into the distance, he could hear the conversation of the experts from the White Tiger people. Monk Bujia closed his eyes. After that he smiled. They plan to first kill all of you and blast you all out of this sky-connecting realm. After that, they will head to the outside world to hunt. Their main targets would be the people from the immortal Qianbian Gate, who are with Qin Wentian. Next would be the people from the Namhuang clan. As for the people from the Namhuang clan, the White Tiger people would be the ones to deal with them. The eyes of everyone flashed. The immortal Qianbian Gate represented by Qin Wentian was actually the most powerful force, including the disciples from the Heavenly Talisman realm and the experts from the Battle Saint tribe. Qin Wentian didn't care about offending the immortal Qianbian Gate. Since they wanted to kill them, they might as well kill them all. As for the foundations of the Namhuang clan, it was better to leave it to the White Tiger people who had the deepest conflict with them. As for the people from GD and Evergreen, they weren't really prepared to kill them. Although the rules of the Sacred Academy no longer protected them, and they could engage in a life-and-death battle, both sides still had some reservations. After all, on the surface, only the White Tiger people had truly killed a greater demon. The disappearance of the experts from the other powers could only be related to Qin Wentian. The humiliation of Huang Yudi and the others was also done by Qin Wentian. Hence, their main target was none other than the powers led by Qin Wentian. You better not participate in this battle. Qingyer's beautiful eyes glanced at Mo Qingqing beside her as she spoke. As long as Qingqing didn't participate, the other party wouldn't be able to kill her. Qingqing was too weak and wouldn't be able to participate at all. Mo Qingqing nodded her head lightly. She knew that if she participated, she would only be a burden and wouldn't be able to help at all. She naturally understood that this wasn't the time to let her emotions affect her decisions. Finally, a stifling pressure gushed over from afar. For a period of time, the clouds in the sky above the sky-connecting realm changed. The dark clouds seemed as though they wanted to crush the sky. The experts from the 9 Emperors' immortal state, White Tiger people, Zidi's followers, Supreme Sword School, Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, Thunder God Hall, Dong Shengshan Gate and others all appeared. They wanted to sweep through the Tiandao Sacred Academy. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe stood at the very front. They lined up in a row as battle light radiated from them. The shadow of numerous divine apes appeared, standing tall in the air, guarding the front lines. Today, we came here for the sake of the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people. For those who stand on the side of the Namhuang clan, they won't be protected by the rules of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Kill them all without mercy. Huang Yudi stood in the direction of the 9 Emperors' immortal state. His body floated in the air as the human emperor immortal empire shimmered, resembling a human emperor. The silence on the other side was so terrifying that it was terrifying. Not a single person replied. They only silently released their immortal foundations as well as their tyrannical auras. In this vast space, only a destructive might could be felt. This might soared upwards, enveloping this entire space within it. Chapter 1189. Among the lineups of both sides, the alliance formed by the White Tiger people was formed by the 9 Emperors' immortal state. As for Qin Wentian's side, it was clear that the Battle Saint tribe's lineup was the strongest. Huang Wudi stood in the center of the 9 Emperors' immortal state. Huang Shatian wasn't present, and the 9 Emperors' immortal state naturally listened to his commands. He was the strongest among them. Emperor Light release. Huang Wudi commanded. In an instant, the experts of the 9 Emperors' immortal state released their immortal foundations at the same time. The shadow of the human emperor appeared, revolving around their immortal foundations. Emperor Light flashed, wanting to slash apart the dark clouds in the sky. The experts of the Battle Saint tribe stood side by side. All of them unleashed their Battle Saint arts. In an instant, resplendent battle diagrams lit up the sky, forming an unbreakable barrier. The experts of the 9 Emperors' immortal state originated from the same place, and their cultivation methods were similar. Coincidentally, the Battle Saint tribe was the same as well. Kill! Huang Wudi commanded. Both sides didn't waste any words and directly started the battle. Since they accepted the suggestion of the White Tiger people and started this large-scale battle, all words were useless. They could only suppress their opponents and obtain victory. All grudges and grudges would vanish together with blood. They would use the lives of the geniuses led by Qin Wentian to end the Sacred Academy, who dared to provoke the 9 Emperors' immortal state. As the command was given, the Emperor Light shone with a terrifying destructive light as it shot forth. The battle saint art interweaved and formed a diagram that resembled an indestructible immortal wall. No matter how much the Emperor light blasted into it, it had no way to break through this defense. This was the first confrontation between the two forces, and both sides sought to defeat their opponent. Huang Wuti stretched out his finger. Suddenly the heavens and the earth buzzed. The sound of thousands of swords could be heard in the void. Huang Wuti pointed his finger forward, and Ren Huang's sword slashed out, destroying everything in their path. At the same time, the cultivators of the 9 Emperors' immortal state attacked at the same time. The Ren Huang swords could cut through the heavens, so how could they not cut through the opponent's defense? As expected, cracks appeared on the runic diagram under the might of the human Emperor sword, as though it would shatter at any moment. Qi coldly snorted. He lifted his palm as an incomparably resplendent palm imprint blasted out. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe also blasted out their palm imprints at the same time, smashing them against the human Emperor sword. The sword light was extinguished, but the palm imprint continued advancing with an irresistible force. However, the mortal sovereign sword still buzzed incessantly as it attacked madly. In the end, it destroyed the palm prints one by one. The 9 Emperors' immortal state merely amounts to this much. A mocking voice rang out from the Battle Saint tribe's camp, causing Huang Wuti's expression to turn incredibly unsightly. He stepped out and actually walked out alone. In the direction of the Battle Saint tribe, Qi stared at Huang Wuti and stepped out with no hesitation. When he saw Huang Wuti unleashing the human Emperor sword, his arm expanded, resembling the arm of a divine ape, capable of destroying the heavens and earth. His might shook the heavens as he destroyed Huang Wuti's attack. The two of them clashed head-on. Upon seeing this scene, the experts from both sides finally moved. From the back of the 9 Emperors' immortal state, experts from the various factions rushed out, rushing towards the Battle Saint tribe. The White Tiger people faced the Namhuang clan, Zidi's subordinates sought out Jidi's followers, and the disciples of the Heavenly Talisman realm blocked the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the Supreme Sword School. The battle finally erupted. This battlefield instantly expanded to a large extent. In this vast space, only the people fighting were present. The spectators all stood far away. The shockwaves from a battle between experts of this level were simply too great. Huang Wuti knew that Qin Wentian wasn't here. His eyes flashed, he finally found an opponent, and directly rushed towards Jun Mingchen. Jun Mingchen also had the same thoughts. His immortal foundation was like a world of its own. He punched out with overwhelming might, akin to an innate emperor. The moment he lifted his hand, he unleashed an innate technique, borrowing the power of an emperor from his immortal foundation to crush the heavens and earth. Even if a human emperor stood before him, he would still be crushed. The two of them fought in close combat. This was the most violent and dangerous method of combat. After Jun Mingchen stepped into the 5th level of Immortal Foundation, he actually didn't fear Huang Wuti at all. Although the cultivation bases of the two of them weren't at the upper 3 levels of Immortal Foundation, their battle was earth-shattering. The surrounding space seemed to be on the verge of exploding as everything turned into dust. "Senior brother, aren't they a little bullying?" Wuxia asked Buchan. "Both sides are willing, it can't be considered bullying. The 9 Emperors' immortal state has more people, but from the looks of it, they don't seem to have the advantage at all." Buchan spoke in a light voice. His entire body was clean and he exuded an incomparably handsome aura. Such a monk could be considered extremely rare in this world. "Senior brother's judgment is naturally better than mine. In that case, we don't need to act," Wuxia asked. "If Huang Shatian participates in this battle, that would truly be bullying. Given Huang Shaishan's current cultivation base, I'm afraid no one would be able to block him." Buchan spoke, as though he had no intentions of participating in this battle. Buchan's judgment was truly good. The geniuses in the surroundings stared at the vast battlefield with shock in their hearts. The White Tiger People's alliance was a peak power in the immortal realms, and these geniuses were all extremely rare geniuses. However, the Namhuang clan was actually able to fight against their opponents despite being at a disadvantage in terms of numbers. Their individual combat prowess was so strong that it was shocking. It hasn't been long since the immortal Qianbian Gate appeared. When did the Immortal Foundation realm nurture so many demon-level geniuses? Some people were shocked. The people from the Battle Saint tribe had always followed Qin Wentian into the Sacred Academy with the identity of the Immortal Qianbian Gate. There were also some disciples from the Heavenly Talisman realm. Their combat prowess was undoubtedly tyrannical. For example, Leba was known as the Thunder God's son, and cultivated in heaven-defying lightning energy. Although he was defeated by Qin Wentian, it didn't affect his strength at all. Yet he was actually blocked by an expert from the Battle Saint tribe at the same level as him. Everyone naturally saw the battle between Huang Wudi and Qida Huang Yudi, whose talent was said to be even more outstanding compared to Huang Wudi, actually fought fiercely against Jun Mengchen, who was at the 5th level of Immortal Foundation, and had no way to defeat him. There were also some extremely outstanding geniuses from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, but all of them were blocked by Qin Wentian. Any one of them could be considered a genius among geniuses. This was truly shocking. This is a tough iron board, it won't be easy to bite it. The experts from the 9 Emperors' immortal state thought that they would win this battle for sure. Most probably, they didn't expect that this battle would be so difficult. Accompanied by a thunderous boom, an expert from the 9 Emperors' immortal state was killed by an expert from the Battle Saint tribe. The law of the sky connecting realm then sent him out. The first person to die was someone from the 9 Emperors' immortal state. In the battlefield where Huang Wudi was at, the human emperor's sword on his body was extremely sharp, slashing apart the sky. However, how could Qida waste his 40 years of cultivation in the Sacred Academy? When he entered the Sacred Academy, he was already at the 9th level of Immortal Foundation. Right now his spirit, Qi and energy have reached a terrifying state. When he circulated the Battle Saint art, he was like a god of battle, fighting against everything. When his energy erupted forth, it contained boundless might. Huang Wudi had no advantage against him at all. In fact, some experts even speculated that Huang Wudi might be defeated. This was something that Huang Wudi found hard to accept. In the 9 Emperors' immortal state, he was inferior to his younger brother Huang Shatian. With Huang Shatian around, Huang Shatian would forever be more dazzling than him. Although he admired Huang Shatian, it was impossible to say that he didn't feel a trace of jealousy in his heart. Huang Shatian was able to fight against 5 experts while he couldn't even deal with a single one of them. He will lose for sure. Among the spectators from the Sky Devil race, Jian Nantian floated in the air. His sharp eyes gleamed with an unexcelled arrogance. Huang Wudi was once defeated by him, but he wasn't arrogant at all. Back then, Huang Wudi basically didn't unleash his full combat prowess. On the other battlefield, Leba also didn't gain the upper hand against the experts from the Battle Saint tribe. As for the battle between Huang Yudi and Jun Mengchen, it was actually the most direct and tyrannical. They fought attacks with attacks, frenziedly unleashing attacks, neither retreating at all. Back then when Huang Yudi humiliated Jun Mengchen, it was only because his cultivation base was lower. But from the looks of this battle, Huang Yudi isn't like this at all. The hearts of everyone trembled. A supreme character like Huang Yudi was actually inferior to an inconspicuous heaven chosen. However, after this battle, everyone would surely reevaluate Jun Mengchen. If his cultivation base was high enough, who said that he wouldn't be another Huang Shatian? Huang Yudi, you are worthy of being called an opponent under the heavens? What a joke. Another heaven-shaking collision occurred. The two of them both retreated. Huang Yudi radiated boundless might. 6 human emperors appeared, wanting to unify the world. Who would dare to defy him? Below the human emperors, everyone under the heavens must submit. Huang Yudi coldly spoke. Under the firmament world, who dares to claim to be unparalleled? Jun Mengchen stared at Huang Yudi. His immortal foundation floated in the air as boundless immortal light radiated from him. At this instant, the majestic energy from Jun Mengchen grew stronger and stronger. He was clad in a set of emperor armor, resembling an emperor of the mortal world. I control the world, human emperors are like ants to me. Jun Mengchen roared. He lifted his hand and punched out. As this punch blasted out, the heavens and earth changed color. It was like the energy of an entire world gushed forth. The emperor rode on a war chariot, patrolling the world. Human emperors were like ants. Everywhere they passed by, all lives prostrated on the ground. Huang Yuti stared at the might of this punch. His human emperor might was suppressed as his countenance turned pale. The 6 human emperors frenziedly attacked, but they were all suppressed. The war chariot of the war chariot sped over, directly killing him. As a thunderous boom rang out, everyone saw Huang Yuti vanishing from sight. All of them were shocked speechless in their hearts. The battle continued. On the side of the Battle Saint tribe and the Namhuang clan, there were also people dying. They were sent out of the sky-connecting realm. If this place wasn't the sky-connecting realm but was outside, these people who died would have truly died. To think that in this battle, the Namhuang clan's alliance is actually gradually gaining the initiative. Everyone felt shock in their hearts. One must know that the 3 great monks of the Wenxin Temple didn't participate in the battle. They were merely spectators. From this, one could see how tyrannical the individual combat prowess of the Namhuang clan's alliance was. Such tyrannical combat prowess would be displayed as the battle progressed. More and more experts died, and were sent out of the sky-connecting realm. At this moment, in the direction of the sky-connecting immortal rock not far away, a beam of light flashed. After that, a gate of the void appeared as a figure exuding magnificence walked out from it. Countless people turned their gazes over as they froze. They glanced at that person, and then glanced at the 2 sides of the battle. Seems like the Namhuang clan's alliance was unlucky, and was destined to suffer a crushing defeat. One of the strongest people in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, a supreme genius of the 9 emperors' immortal state, Huang Shatian. Once he appeared, who could obstruct him? Chapter 1190. When the spectators saw Huang Shatian appearing, there were a few who glanced at the supreme might rankings on the sky-connecting immortal rock. Above it, a silhouette silently appeared, replacing another supreme genius on the supreme might rankings. That figure was none other than Jun Mingchen. Qin Wentian and Jun Mingchen were fellow apprentices, and both of them appeared on the supreme might rankings at the same time. In addition, Jun Mingchen had been humiliated many times because his cultivation base was too low. Now that he killed Huang Yuti, he would surely cause a huge commotion if this was any other time. Sadly, this was a time of war. The vast majority of people were focused on Huang Shatian. His appearance instantly attracted countless gazes. Oh no, this fellow came at the wrong time. Wuxia mumbled, knowing that things were going to be bad. Back then when Huang Shatian fought against 5 peak-level Immortal Foundation experts, his existence was simply too great of a threat. Right now, although the alliance of the Southern Phoenix clan had the initiative, even if 1 or 2 peak-level Immortal Foundation experts were sent out, they would be able to instantly turn the situation around. Let alone 5 peak-level Immortal Foundation experts. Although everyone had some improvements after so many years, Huang Shatian was the same as well. He entered the void dimension of the sky-connecting immortal rock, and it was rumored that he had already peaked at the gate of the Immortal King realm. How terrifying was he now? Most probably, no one would be able to defeat him. Senior brother, do you have any solutions? Wuxia asked Buyu. Buyu's eyes were still closed. He pressed his palms together and shook his head lightly. Although his defense was supreme, even if he could block Huang Shaishan's attacks, he wouldn't be able to restrict Huang Shatian alone. Given Huang Shaishan's current cultivation base, if he wanted to kill someone, there was truly no one who could obstruct him. Junior brother, that friend of yours can only blame his bad luck. It's useless even if we interfere. Junior brother, you are now at the 6th level of Immortal Foundation. You should cultivate well. If you can reach the same level as senior brother Buyu one day, you should be able to defeat Huang Shatian. Buchan spoke. I don't know how long it would take for me to reach the 9th level. Wuxia spoke in a depressed tone. At this moment, Huang Shatian was still walking towards the battlefield. His countenance was cold, exuding magnificence through the generations. He stood in the air, walking through the terrifying aftershocks of the battle. He was an innate human emperor. He furrowed his brows, as though he was unhappy. He then coldly spoke. I told you guys to focus on your cultivation. Why are you guys stirring up trouble again? Under the rules of the Sacred Academy, What meaning is there in initiating such a battle? If it was a battle between a few people, it could be understood as a trial. However, a large-scale battle like this would require a lot of time and effort to organize. In his opinion, it was a pure waste of cultivation time. The battle between the Southern Phoenix clan and the White Tiger race has violated the rules of the Sacred Academy. The Sacred Academy has sent down its flames of fury and will no longer protect both sides from the battle. Luo Shatian Huang Shatian understood. Shatian Tian Saint King Longchen. If there would Shatian Wu Emperor. Since we initiated the war, we have to win for sure. Now that the situation is like this, you guys better reflect on yourselves. Huang Shatian roared. Although he didn't name anyone, Huang Wudi and the others from the 9 Emperors' immortal state all felt their hearts trembling. They didn't dare to retort. Huang Shatian was already a king in their generation, let alone the current him. Even back then when his cultivation base was still low, he was already able to teach these people a lesson. In addition, he also had the qualifications to do so. They initiated the war, but they were actually the weaker side. This was truly embarrassing. As the sound of Huang Shaishan's voice faded, he released his immortal foundation as a human emperor appeared. At this moment, he seemed to have transformed into a human emperor as law energy circulated around him. In an instant, this entire space was enveloped by the shadow of his law energy. Such a feeling caused the countenances of the people from the Namhuang clan to drastically change, becoming extremely unsightly to behold. Huang Shatian had truly come into contact with the gate to the immortal king realm. Although he might need many years before he could truly step over this gate, just touching it was already a transformation. An expert from the Battle Saint tribe who was in combat suddenly felt spatial energy enveloping him. After that, boundless Emperor light shot towards him. He wanted to struggle, but he discovered that he had no way to break free from that supreme pressure. As the immortal light descended, an intense light flashed as his silhouette directly vanished from sight. Not only him, at this moment, Huang Shaishan's Emperor light enveloped all directions, instantly enveloping many experts. Everywhere the Emperor light passed by, experts would vanish one after another. For those with lower cultivation bases, they had no way to resist and were directly killed. Invincible. Everyone sighed in their hearts when they saw this scene. Right now, Huang Shatian was like an invincible existence in the immortal foundation realm. There was basically no one who could contend against him. He had already stepped into another level. When they saw this scene, they also understood that there was no longer any suspense in this battle. Luckily, this place was the sky-connecting realm, and they still had a chance of survival. If this was in the external world, these people who were killed would have truly died. A 9th-level immortal foundation genius rushed towards Huang Shatian. However, Huang Shaishan's immortal foundation radiated light as boundless spatial energy descended. In the air, a human emperor slashed out with a sharp sword in his hand, wanting to split the heavens and earth apart. Huang Shatian didn't even act. He stood there arrogantly in the air, using only his immortal foundation to kill the geniuses. Very swiftly, that 9th-level immortal foundation genius was trapped and killed. He had no way to withstand that power, and was sent out of the sky-connecting realm by the law energy. The experts from the White Tiger People's Alliance roared, feeling extremely excited. They stared at the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan and roared, "All of you, feel my wrath." The situation of the entire battle was reversed. The holy maidens of the Namhuang clan all had looks of despair on their faces. One of them coldly spoke, "Relying on the strength of others, yet you are still so complacent. The greater demons of the White Tiger people have long forgotten what pride is. How lamentable. They would fight to the death, bathing in flames. Even if they died in battle and were sent out of the sky-connecting realm, they would never be captured." Chi-chi-chi. A series of sounds rang out. The Namhuang clan's alliance knew that they couldn't win this battle. All they wanted was to die and get out of the sky-connecting realm. Even Qing'er was killed. Not too long after, the vast battlefield gradually calmed down. As the last few people were killed, the experts of the Namhuang clan's alliance were all sent out of the sky-connecting realm. Huang Shatian used his absolute combat prowess, single-handedly destroying everything, deciding the outcome of the battle. This was the might of a peak-level expert. Although they were sent out by the laws of the sky-connecting realm, they are all injured to varying degrees. You guys should be able to do what you want to do next, right? Huang Shatian faintly spoke. Huang Wudi nodded his head lightly. They will be sent to the Sacred Academy. We will go and kill them now. After speaking, the experts split into 4 groups and flew towards the 4 exits. Huang Shatian glanced at the surroundings before he departed as well. Since the Sacred Academy allowed this battle, in order to prevent the deaths of the people of the 9 Emperors' immortal state, he still needed to act personally and kill some people. After the experts from the 9 Emperors' immortal state left, there was still a person from the White Tiger people. He didn't leave. With a flash of his silhouette, he reverted to his human form and dashed towards the direction of Mo Qingqing as an intense evil intent flashed on his face. Qin Wentian actually has such a beautiful woman. Seems like I'm the one who benefited the most. The White Tiger had a lustful look in his eyes. Mo Qingqing's countenance turned pale as she stared at the approaching White Tiger. However, at this moment, a terrifying blood-colored beam of light descended from the sky. That White Tiger sensed danger and let out a roar. However, under the blood-colored light, his body was instantly enveloped by a blood-colored prison. Numerous beams of blood-colored light slashed past, lacerating his body bit by bit. With a boom, accompanied by a scream of misery, this White Tiger vanished. Several figures descended from the sky, causing the eyes of the people in the surroundings to flash. These were all devil cultivators from the myriad devil islands. The woman in the lead exuded magnificence through the generations, resembling the daughter of a devil king. That resplendent crown on her head indicated that she had a lofty status in the myriad devil islands. Such a character actually acted to save Mo Qingqing? However, this woman didn't say anything. She merely coldly swept her gaze over everyone, causing everyone to feel a sense of imposingness. On the other side, the experts from the Namhuang clan and the Battle Saint tribe had long made an agreement. If they were defeated and sent out of the sky-connecting realm, they would flee towards the borders of the Sacred Academy and think of other methods to gather together. If not, they would definitely be killed by the other party. Hence, after Huang Shatian appeared and reversed the situation, they didn't hesitate to flee towards the Tiandao Sacred Academy. The Sacred Academy was extremely vast. It wouldn't be easy to find them in the endless mountain range. Not long after, the alliance of the White Tiger people and the 9 Emperors' immortal state chased after them, searching for those who participated in the battle. Very swiftly, they found out that those who participated in the battle had already started to flee. Huang Shatian left the sky-connecting realm alone. Only he dared to do this, he didn't need to worry about being counterattacked. There might be some in the Tiandao Sacred Academy who could contend against him, but he was confident that there was no one here who could kill him, let alone those who participated in the battle. But at this moment, several figures appeared before Huang Shatian. These people were all clad in devil cloaks, and their eyes were cold as they stood before Huang Shatian. People from the myriad devil islands? Huang Shatian frowned as his aura erupted forth. There's someone who doesn't wish for you to participate in this battle. A devil expert in the lead coldly spoke. Huang Shatian coldly laughed. His aura erupted forth as he released his immortal foundation. In an instant, law energy enveloped this entire space as terrifying beams of human emperor light shot out. Towering devilish might erupted forth from the 4 devil cultivators. Blood-colored devilish light revolved around them, exuding a heaven-shaking might. The powerful beams of light from human emperors shot over, yet they couldn't do anything to the blood-colored light around them. Courting death. Huang Shatian stepped out. However, the 4 devil cultivators dispersed, moving towards Huang Shatian. Die. Huang Shatian stabbed out with his finger, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Human emperors appeared, slashing apart the void. The auras of the 4 devil cultivators actually resonated with each other. Boundless blood-colored might enveloped this entire space, transforming into a supreme judgment might that enveloped everything. The human emperors were unexcelled in the world, yet a judgment devil appeared, slashing out with a judgment blade, aiming to kill the human emperors. Huang Shaishan's gaze turned heavy. The 4 devil cultivators from the myriad devil islands were all very powerful, and their joint attacks were even more powerful. I've already conveyed my message. If you act, we will kill 1 person from the 9 emperors' immortal state. The 4 of them coldly spoke. After that, they retreated. Huang Shatian coldly laughed. Since the myriad devil islands are helping Wuxia, what if I kill all of them? What does that have to do with us? We only know that the people of the 9 emperors' immortal state will also be killed. Devil might gushed forth, leaving behind a terrifying judgment might as their silhouettes gradually vanished. Chapter 1191. The strongest threat would always be when someone knows your weakness like the back of their hand, but you know nothing about them. The unknown was the most terrifying. Right now, Huang Shatian was facing such a threat. His combat prowess was unrivaled in Tiandao Sacred Academy. Other than a few people, he could sweep through everyone else. Threatening Huang Shatian sounded like a joke, but earlier, he was actually threatened. That expert from the myriad devil islands said that there was someone who didn't wish for him to participate in this battle. The simpler the words, the more arrogant they sounded. However, he didn't even know who the other party was, let alone know their weakness. But from that short exchange earlier, Huang Shatian understood that the other party definitely had the strength to slowly kill the people of the 9 emperors' immortal state. Other than him, no one else would be able to survive. If he knew who the other party was helping, he would similarly be able to threaten them. But earlier, that devil expert said that even if he, Huang Shatian, slaughtered everyone here, it had nothing to do with them. It was like they didn't care at all. Huang Shatian didn't know if what he said was true or false. Also, it was true that these devil experts didn't participate in the battle earlier. Hence, they were even more mysterious. No one knew who they were helping. Even if I'm not here, so what of it? Huang Shaishan's expression was cold. In that battle earlier, the Namhuang clan's alliance would definitely be heavily injured. Maybe they would scatter and flee in different directions. As for the people on his side, there was no doubt that he would win this battle. His gaze stared at that gradually vanishing figure as he directly stepped out, moving towards that person. He wanted to see who it was that dared to threaten him, Huang Shatian. The 4 experts from the Judiciary Hall soon discovered that Huang Shatian was following behind them. They frowned and turned. Devil might gushed forth as they stepped out, attacking Huang Shatian again. Devil cultivators were tyrannical and warlike. Even if Huang Shatian has already seen the gate to the immortal king realm, so what of it? They were the subordinates of the Judiciary Priestess. How would they fear battle? Another earth-shattering battle erupted. The power of human emperors clashed violently against the tyrannical Judiciary Hall, shaking the heavens and earth. However, neither of them could do anything to the other. This battle lasted for a long time before both sides stopped. But none of them had any intentions to leave. They were coldly staring at each other. Very well, I initially thought that you would be aware. Since you are so warlike, from today onwards you, Huang Shatian, wouldn't be able to do anything. One of the devil cultivators coldly spoke. Who were they? They were the Judiciary Department of the Judiciary Hall, under the myriad devil sovereign. All along, only others would respect them. Those who were targeted by them would never be able to eat or sleep in peace. Since Huang Shatian took the initiative to find trouble with them, their Judiciary Department would naturally play with him. In truth, this was also the case. From today onwards, Huang Shatian had never been able to shake off the shadow of the 4 experts from the Judiciary Hall. Wherever Huang Shatian went, the 4 devil experts would follow. Both sides fought many times, but they couldn't do anything to the other party. Huang Shatian was infuriated, but the other party still followed him relentlessly. Such tenacity caused Huang Shatian to truly understand what sort of existences the devil cultivators of the myriad devil islands were. In the blink of an eye, several months have already passed since the battle that occurred in the sky-connecting realm. The experts from the White Tiger People's Alliance began a frenzied pursuit of the experts from the Namhuang clan. The experts from the Namhuang clan all fled to a remote location in the Sacred Academy, causing the experts from the White Tiger People's alliance to have no choice but to split up and hunt them down. Although the risk was higher, it wasn't to the extent where they only managed to kill a small number of people. Among these people, there were experts from the Evergreen Kingdom who were heavily injured. Under the joint attack of the White Tiger People, they even crippled their immortal foundation. They didn't believe that the Evergreen Kingdom would still act against them for the sake of a single disciple with nobility. Another expert from the Namhuang clan was humiliated by the White Tiger People, and was almost tainted. In order not to lose her reputation, this holy maiden of the Namhuang clan made the same choice as Namfeng Chun back then. She transformed into Nirvanic blood and fled this place, searching for a companion from the Namhuang clan. At this moment, this companion of hers was gathered together with several experts from the Namhuang clan. Namhuang Yunxi was also among them. Staring at the translucent droplet of blood in her palm, their hearts were dripping with blood. This was already the second person who died. Those who could enter the Tiandao Sacred Academy were all elites, and the vast majority of them were holy maidens. But now, there were already two who were forced to undergo nirvanic rebirth. What should we do? A holy maiden asked. Ever since we were blasted out of the sky-connecting realm, we have no way to gather together. In addition to the fact that Huang Shatian is here, we have no other choice but to flee. That holy maiden sighed. She kept the droplet of nirvanic blood as a look of sorrow flashed in her eyes. In another sacred academy, in the midst of a mountain range, a group of experts could be seen. Jun Mingchen was among them. Before this, they encountered a group of experts who were pursuing them and narrowly lost their lives. Luckily, they met with the reinforcements of an expert from the Battle Saint tribe, allowing them to escape. But even so, they were still in a miserable state, and were still hiding from their pursuers. We have to gather together again before we have a chance to retaliate. Jun Mingchen spoke. How can it be so easy? Let's just drag it out with them for now. If time drags on, they would definitely not be able to gather together to hunt us down. I don't believe that they wouldn't be able to cultivate in the Sacred Academy. A person coldly spoke. Do we still have to flee? I'm unwilling to do so. Jun Mingchen inclined his head and stared at the air. I wonder if senior brother Qin Wentian has exited yet. If he is, he would definitely kill the people from the White Tiger People. In that case, with Huang Shatian here, senior brother. Right now Jun Mingchen was somewhat worried about Qin Wentian's safety. They were defeated. This meant that Qin Wentian would have to face the covetous gazes of many experts the moment he exited. In another remote location of the Sacred Academy, a heaven-shaking, earth-shattering battle was currently occurring. Over 10 experts surrounded 4 people. 2 of them were from the Battle Saint tribe while the other 2 were GD's followers. Among the 2 GD's followers, one of them was none other than Qing'er. Madam Qin, you can leave first. The cultivation bases of the 2 experts from the Battle Saint tribe were very high. They were fighting against a junior apprentice brother of Qing'er. There were many injuries on their bodies, but they still stood there unmoving, protecting Qing'er behind them. Qing'er was the same as Mo Qingcheng. They were both women of the Saint Lord. Go. Qing'er's senior apprentice sister also shouted. Although she was proficient in spatial energy, her blood still dyed her robes red when she was surrounded by enemies. Don't worry, senior apprentice sister won't have any problems escaping. She continued. Qing'er's countenance was still as cold as ever. Her ice-cold eyes swept over those pursuers as she blasted out a spatial barrier, blocking the path of her opponent. The young woman stepped out, spatial energy radiating from her body as she instantly appeared far away. When her opponent saw Qing'er's spatial energy, he instantly knew that he wouldn't be able to catch up to her after a few moments. The violent battle was still going on, but Qing'er had already gone far away. She was still moving forward, and there was a hint of sorrow in her eyes. In those beautiful eyes, the face of a young man could be seen. It was none other than the silhouette of Qin Wentian. He who cultivated in the sky-connecting immortal rock in the sky-connecting realm. How could he know how intense this battle was? Another few days passed. Today, Huang Shatian arrived before a secret realm located in the Sacred Academy. However, the 4 devil experts were like ghosts that wouldn't disperse. following behind him. Staring at a cave dwelling in the secret realm, Huang Shatian stepped out and directly entered. He wanted to see how long these four could pursue him for. They better not give him an opportunity, or he would definitely take their lives. In the sky-connecting realm, at the location of the sky-connecting immortal rock, this place was still filled with experts. During these years, the Supreme Might rankings didn't have too many changes. Today, it has already been a long time since the battle in the sky-connecting realm, but the memories of that battle were still fresh in everyone's minds. Even now, that battle has yet to end. It was unknown how many experts from the Namhuang clan alliance have already fallen. It's rumored that Huang Shatian is trapped and can't act. The ones dealing with Huang Shatian were 4 terrifying devil cultivators from the myriad devil islands. I wonder what's going on. Someone spoke. Back then, after the battle in the sky-connecting realm ended, a white tiger wanted to act against Mo Qingqing. It was none other than an extraordinary female devil cultivator from the myriad devil islands who acted to save it. Maybe the ones dealing with Huang Shatian might have a connection to her. That's right. Back then, when the White Tiger people fought against the Namhuang clan, the Sacred Academy was enraged. There were 2 groups of devil cultivators that appeared, and that female was one of them. Everyone spoke. At this moment, exclamations of shock rang out. The gazes of the crowd turned in the direction of the sky-connecting immortal rock. After that, the rock opened as a figure stepped out from within. This figure was extraordinarily handsome and exuded a transcendent aura. His pitch-black eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. He glanced at the surroundings but didn't see anyone familiar. He couldn't help but to smile as he spoke in a low voice. "Qing'er Mengchen, little rascal purgatory, are you guys doing well?" This figure who walked out was none other than Qin Wentian, who had been cultivating for several years. "They aren't doing well." A voice drifted over, causing Qin Wentian's gaze to stiffen. He inclined his head only to see 2 extraordinary figures appearing there. That young man seemed somewhat familiar. He had once appeared on the Supreme Might rankings back then, and was replaced by Qin Wentian. "Li Yufeng?" Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. "You don't have to care about who I am. Many months ago, the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people had a huge battle, violating the rules of the Sacred Academy. The Sacred Academy was enraged, and for those who participated in the battle between the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people, they would no longer be protected by the Sacred Academy. After that, the Namhuang clan gathered your friends while the White Tiger people gathered all the major powers in the sky-connecting realm. Initially, your friends had the upper hand, but Huang Shatian appeared and reversed the situation, causing your friends to suffer a crushing defeat and be expelled from the sky-connecting realm. Right now, they are currently being pursued by the major powers in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Li Yufeng spoke. The smile on Qin Wentian's face instantly froze. After that, his expression turned incomparably cold as he asked, "Which major powers are participating in this?" 9 Emperors Immortal State, Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, Zidi's Followers, Supreme Sword School, White Tiger People, Thunder God Hall. These are the ones I know of. Li Yufeng spoke. "Sir, do you know where my friends are now?" A cold intent gushed forth from Qin Wentian. These major powers were all participating. How could Qing'er and the others be fine? "I'm not sure. It's rumored that they fled to a remote location in the Sacred Academy. Most probably, they have long been separated," Li Yufeng replied. "In addition, there should be people watching you here. Once you participate in this battle, once you exit the sky-connecting realm, they would be able to kill you. You better take care of yourself. Many thanks for the information." Qin Wentian clasped his hands. After that, his silhouette flashed as he vanished from his original location. Chapter 1192. Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered unceasingly as he sped towards the exit of the sky-connecting realm. His angular face was filled with coldness, his deep eyes flickered with killing intent. Naturally, there was also a hint of worry in his eyes. The 9 Emperors Immortal State, Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, Zidi's Followers, the Supreme Sword School, the White Tiger People, the Thunder God Hall. With so many major powers pursuing Qing'er and the others, How could Qin Wentian not be worried? He memorized all the names of these major powers in his heart. The grudges of the past finally erupted under the rules of the Sacred Academy. Since he wanted to kill them, he might as well kill them then. A raging wind gusted by. Qin Wentian manifested the wings of a great rock as the world buzzed. It was like a bolt of lightning arcing through the sky. Not long after, at one of the exits of the sky-connecting realm, Qin Wentian walked out. He stared at the Tiandao Sacred Academy with a blank look on his face. Qing'er and the others were currently fleeing. He had no idea where they were and what kind of cruel pursuit they were facing. He could only search the sacred academies one by one, trying his best to gather his scattered friends together. A bright light flashed as Qin Wentian directly vanished from sight. Not long after he left, a few figures stepped out from the sky-connecting realm, coldly staring at his vanishing back. After waiting for so long, he finally came out. Next, it would be time to hunt him down. The various major powers formed an alliance. The person they wanted to kill the most was undoubtedly Qin Wentian. Not long after, Qin Wentian stood in the airspace of an ancient hall in the Sacred Academy. The golden peak of the ancient hall was in a sharp shape. His body floated there as he stared into the distance. There should be some of his friends in each Sacred Academy. People from the Battle Saint tribe, the immortal Qianbian Gate of the Heavenly Talisman realm, the Namhuang clan. They were all scattered across the 4 sacred academies. But now, with a single glance, there was no one he knew. His silhouette flickered as he headed towards a certain place below. There were many experts gathered there. Occasionally, the sound of bells would ring out. That place was where the Shizhong Wall was located. Qin Wentian looked at the Shizhong Wall and walked out. First step, second step, third step. 27 steps, 36 steps, 45 steps, 54 steps, 63 steps. Before the Shizhong Wall, the long robes of the young man fluttered in the wind. Boundless energy blasted into Qin Wentian's body, like the chimes of a million bells, hammering on his immortal foundation, his bones, his flesh and blood. Once, Qin Wentian took 81 steps on the Shizhong Wall in a single day. Today, he came here again and took 72 steps in a single breath before he halted. 72 steps, completed in a single breath. This was a place where many geniuses tried their best, but failed to reach. However, Qin Wentian didn't pause for even a moment. He only used a single breath to reach this point. The people in the surroundings stared at the silhouette of the young man, feeling his magnificence. Was he borrowing the power of the Shizhong Wall to announce his return? After the 73rd step, the bell chimes rang out. The blood in his body thrummed as his bones trembled. When he released his immortal foundation, a flawless immortal light illuminated the entire space. As the 74th step landed, the majestic energy was like the waves of a tsunami. However, this tsunami wasn't able to obstruct his advance. The 75th step, the 76th step, the 77th step. As his footsteps landed, the heavens and earth shook. Under the reverberation of the bell chimes, this boundlessly vast region was trembling. The entire central region of this sacred academy trembled as the earth rumbled. What a powerful aura, completed in a single breath. Who is it? Who is stepping on the Shizhong Wall? Many cultivators felt their hearts trembling. After that, they all flew towards the direction of the Shizhong Wall. Very swiftly, they arrived here and saw Qin Wentian. The figure on the Supreme Might rankings, the person who once stepped on the 81 steps of the Shizhong Wall in a single day. He has once again returned to this place. As the 78th step landed, the aura from him was too tyrannical and tyrannical. The earth and the surroundings seemed to be on the verge of shattering as cracks appeared, emitting a sound that caused the hearts of those who heard it to tremble. As the 79th step landed, the Shizhong Wall shone with boundless light. This place was like the convergence of a raging storm. That was the convergence of the most violent bell chimes. There was no way for them to vent, but once they were released, it would definitely shake the heavens and earth. At this instant, even those geniuses around Qin Wentian who were stepping on the Shizhong Wall all had unsightly expressions on their faces. They stared at Qin Wentian. This bastard. Just because he came here to step on the Shizhong Wall, he wants the others to retreat? With him here, There was basically no way for the others to step on the Shizhong wall, only to see many people directly giving up, leaving this path as they stared at Qin Wentian. As the 80th step landed, the heavens and earth trembled. The bell chimes were incomparably violent, and his body felt like it was about to explode. Qin Wentian's robes fluttered in the wind as his black hair fluttered in the wind. His immortal foundation was under the impact of the boundless might, and was on the verge of shattering apart. The earth crumbled apart. For those who stepped on the Shizhong wall, some of them were directly injured as their countenances turned pale. They stared at Qin Wentian. The path that Qin Wentian wanted to walk, was he going to make others have no path to walk? In the air, there were several experts who were following Qin Wentian. When they saw him stepping on the Shizhong wall, their eyes turned cold. Was he going to announce his return? In that case, it would soon be the time of his death. Qin Wentian didn't seem to be able to sense the boundless might. The storm of energy accumulated in his body had already risen to the extreme, but he still didn't hesitate to take the final step. As his foot landed, bell chimes gushed forth frenziedly. At this instant, his body seemed to be resonating with the bell chimes of the heavens and earth. I've returned. As the sound of his voice rang out, it was like the voice of longing from back then. The sound of his voice drifted through the sacred academy in all directions. The wind and clouds howled, or the bell chimes. Each chime transformed into a gust of wind that blew into the ears of everyone, announcing his return. I've returned, I've returned. The bell chimes continued ringing unceasingly. Qin Wentian has returned. That tyrannical energy continued ravaging Qin Wentian, wanting to kill him directly. The cracks on the ground grew more and more terrifying. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the sky. It was like he didn't care about the energy of the Shizhong wall. His perfect immortal foundation shattered and reformed, as though it would never shatter. Although the energy from the bell chimes was still gushing out, this time around he took 81 steps in one go. The accumulated energy was simply too tyrannical. He wanted to declare war against the energy of the Shizhong wall. Chichi. His long robes were torn apart. Qin Wentian's body was riddled with holes as though he was about to explode. Everyone stared at him in shock. Has this fellow gone mad? Courting death. One of the people following him coldly spoke. However, as the sound of his voice faded, a violent bell chime suddenly gushed into his body. He groaned in misery as a look of terror appeared on his face. After that, with a thunderous boom, his body directly exploded as a rain of blood splattered through the air. The people in the surroundings hurriedly evaded. All of them were incomparably shocked. I will participate in the battle. The rules of the Sacred Academy will not protect me. Qin Wentian announced that he would participate in the battle. Another bell chime rang out. Another expert following him felt his heart trembling with fear. He wanted to flee, but how could he have the time? Yet another explosion rang out, and that expert transformed into a rain of blood as his body was smashed into smithereens. How tyrannical! Everyone stared at Qin Wentian. This man was simply too tyrannical. In a single breath, he took 81 steps, using the accumulated energy of the bell chimes to directly kill a genius, killing him with a single strike, showing no mercy. The earth rumbled. Qin Wentian's body was on the verge of shattering, but he still stood there steadily. How could the Shizhong wall of the Sacred Academy be able to destroy his conviction? How could it destroy his flesh and blood? After 81 steps, he stepped out once more. At this instant, that surge of energy was completely unleashed. Thunderous rumbling sounds rang out as the earth trembled violently. Numerous ancient palaces were directly split apart from the middle. Under the sound of the bell chimes, everything was transformed into dust. Retreat quickly. The crowd retreated into the distance. Buildings continued to collapse and the cracks under their feet grew deeper and deeper. Finally, a thunderous rumble rang out as thousands of bell chimes reverberated throughout the Sacred Academy. From now on, the Shizhong wall of the Tiandao Sacred Academy would no longer exist. At this moment, the Shizhong wall was shattered. However, Qin Wentian's body didn't shatter. Whoever wants to kill me, I will definitely kill them. Qin Wentian stood amidst the endless dust. He stood with his hands behind his back, like an overlord looking down on the world. Although his cultivation level wasn't high, he already had the demeanor of a peerless expert. The Shizhong wall wanted to kill him, but the Shizhong wall was shattered. Whoever wanted to kill him, he would kill them. With a flash of his silhouette, Qin Wentian soared into the air and sped away. He wanted to let his friends know that he has returned. In a place extremely far away from the Shizhong wall of the Sacred Academy, Jun Mengchen and several other experts stood in the mountain range. All of a sudden, the sound of bell chimes rang out. He inclined his head and stared at the sky as a smile appeared on his face. Senior brother Qin has returned. He was using the bell chimes of the Shizhong wall to announce his return. At a place near a river, there were several maidens of the Namhuang clan walking carefully. At this moment, they inclined their heads as a trace of hope appeared in their hearts. He has returned. However, when facing the domineering Huang Shatian, as well as the geniuses of the various major powers, would his return be of any use? In the Sacred Academy, the experts of the Battle Saint tribe who were fleeing for their lives all inclined their heads and stared in the direction of the Shizhong wall of the Sacred Academy. The Saint Lord has returned. Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered unceasingly. However, at the same time in the region of the Shizhong wall, a group of people gathered together. When they heard the bell chimes, they knew that it was Qin Wentian's declaration. Their countenances turned cold as an intense killing intent flashed in their eyes. What could he do even if he returned? Since he declared war, he would soon become a corpse. This war was already destined back then in the sky-connecting realm. No one could change the ending. Just a mere Qin Wentian. Even if he shattered the Shizhong wall, what could he change? He could only be angry. There was nothing he could change. A group of experts sped towards the direction Qin Wentian left in. Qin Wentian didn't stop for even a moment as they chased after him. Their eyes were filled with the conviction to kill him. Whoever wanted to kill him, he would definitely kill them. Who didn't know how to speak such arrogant words? Without absolute power, they still dared to be so arrogant. Today would be the doomsday of Qin Wentian. In the wilderness, the yellow sand billowed. Qin Wentian was in the front while his pursuers were behind him. Both parties already knew of each other's existence. In their hearts, an intense killing intent could be felt. Chapter 1193. There were a total of 6 experts pursuing Qin Wentian. Back then when the Namhuang clan and the other experts fled, the White Tiger people chased after them everywhere, but to no avail. Hence, they decided to split up into smaller groups and split their strength evenly. The leader of the 6 pursuing Qin Wentian was none other than the innate sword king of the Supreme Sword School, Wuxia. Back then on the battle platform of the Evergreen Kingdom, he was at the 6th level of Immortal Foundation, and was unexcelled in the world. When Qin Wentian first stepped on the Shizhong wall, he was there as well. He wanted to use a single step to humiliate Qin Wentian. But Qin Wentian actually took 81 steps. Right now, Gu Zhao's cultivation base was already incomparably tyrannical, stepping into the 8th level of Immortal Foundation. From this, one could very well imagine how powerful he was now. Beside him, there was a 7th level Immortal Foundation expert, and a 6th level Immortal Foundation expert from the Supreme Sword School. All of them were flying together with Gu Zhao, moving as fast as lightning. Other than the 3 of them, there were 3 other experts. One was a 7th level Immortal Foundation demon from the White Tiger people, and 2 from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. One was at the 7th level while the other was at the 8th level. Such a lineup could be said to be extremely tyrannical. To them, killing Qin Wentian, who was merely at the 6th level of Immortal Foundation, was nothing difficult. Although Qin Wentian had already displayed his overwhelming combat prowess when he fought against Leiba, with Gu Zhao around, he alone was comparable to Leiba. In fact, even the people from the Supreme Sword School understood that Gu Zhao, who was at the 8th level of Immortal Foundation, was even more terrifying than Leiba. Back then, Qin Wentian used all his strength before he could kill Leiba and blast him out of the sky-connecting realm. If it was Gu Zhao, he would be able to do it even more perfectly compared to Qin Wentian. His strength was already above Qin Wentian, and in addition, he had the support of the other 5 experts. With such a lineup, even a 9th-level Immortal Foundation genius would die without a doubt. Finally, Huang Shatian and the rest could already see the back of Qin Wentian. Seeing how Qin Wentian continued to fly forward like a great rock, Huang Shaishan's eyes were as sharp as an unsheathed sword. Your friends have suffered heavy casualties, and the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan are all incomparably beautiful. I wonder how many of them have been humiliated, and you still have the face to announce your return? If I were you, I would fight with my life on the line. If you die, maybe the experts from the various powers would no longer pursue the Namhuang clan like before. Gu Zhao's voice was like sharp swords whistling through the air, ringing out in Qin Wentian's ears. However, Qin Wentian acted as though he didn't hear it, and continued on his way. Qin Wentian, do you still have a wife named Mo Qingqing? You probably don't know that she also came to the Sacred Academy, right? She is only at the 1st level of Immortal Foundation, yet she has incomparably beautiful eyes. You can try to imagine her ending. An expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom spoke. And indeed, as the sound of this voice faded, Qin Wentian, who was advancing, abruptly halted his steps. He abruptly turned around as a cold light gleamed in his eyes as he stared at the person who spoke. Qingqing, she also came to the Sacred Academy? In the face of such a situation, what would Qingqing do? Seeing Qin Wentian halting, the expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom coldly laughed. Even geniuses loved beauties. Qin Wentian's wife was so beautiful. As expected, this was his weakness. As the sound of the voice faded, Qin Wentian truly stopped fleeing. In that case, what awaited Qin Wentian was only death. Very swiftly, the 6 experts arrived before Qin Wentian. Their terrifying auras instantly gushed forth, enveloping Qin Wentian. In Qin Wentian's eyes, there was only that 7th-level Immortal Foundation expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. How is she? Qin Wentian coldly asked. Naturally, she was sullied and humiliated by someone. You should understand what sort of demonic beasts the White Tiger people are. In addition, they hate you to the bone. How can they not enjoy such a beauty? That expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom intentionally wanted to infuriate Qin Wentian, causing Qin Wentian to lose control of his heart. However, at this moment, Qin Wentian's eyes shone with a faint golden Buddhist light, like the eyes of truth, able to see through everything. Qin Wentian calmed his heart. Mo Qingqing was indeed his weakness. It was impossible for him to not care about her. However, the other party lied. In that case, although Qingqing came to the Sacred Academy, she would definitely be fine. Boom! A fearsome might gushed forth from Qin Wentian. His Immortal Foundation was released, appearing flawless and perfect. That fiend god physique of his was unexcelled in the world. Suppress. Qin Wentian spat out a single word. In an instant, a terrifying law energy in the air transformed into a gigantic suppress character. Its might shook this entire space, suppressing all existences as it blasted outwards. Gu Zhao's expression was cold. His aura also erupted forth, resembling a paragon of swords. He was a paragon sword, born to be a king. A beam of sword light slashed out as 10,000 swords shot out in unison. Boundless sword might filled the air, blasting into the gigantic character for suppression. Clanging sounds rang out as the character for suppression shattered. But just when the 6 of them thought that Qin Wentian was prepared for a violent battle, Qin Wentian actually turned and continued fleeing, causing them to be stunned. They continued to chase after him. A fearsome energy circulated around Qin Wentian's palms. Abruptly, he halted once more and blasted out with a palm strike. This palm imprint was incomparably gigantic, resembling the palm of a divinity. When it blasted out, many characters for suppression erupted forth, resonating with the heavens and earth as boundless law energy erupted forth, crushing down on the 6 experts who were chasing after him. Gu Zhao coldly snorted. A fearsome sword domain manifested around him, impervious to all attacks, capable of annihilating everything. That terrifying suppressive might blasted over, but it was all shattered. The other 5 experts all lifted their palms to defend, but Qin Wentian had already acted the moment he blasted out that palm strike. With a flash of the wind rock, he directly rushed into the midst of the 6 experts. staring at the expert from the Sky Mist Immortal Empire, who said that Mo Qingqing was humiliated earlier. He chanted incantations as destructive energy gushed forth. That gigantic character for suppression actually transformed into many terrifying ancient halberds that shot towards his opponent. The countenance of his opponent drastically changed as he retreated. At the same time, he blasted out with the might of a giant elephant. However, the ancient halberds also seemed to have the wings of a wind rock as they pierced out with lightning speed. In the time it takes for sparks to fly off a flint, the ancient halberds directly pierced into his opponent's body. That person's countenance turned as pale as paper as a fear that originated from the depths of his soul appeared in his heart. After that he only felt pain. Boom! A thunderous sound rang out. The ancient halberds directly penetrated through his immortal foundation, directly killing him. This tyrannical strike was so fast that no one could react in time. When the other 5 experts regained their senses, their eyes flashed with an intense killing intent. Qin Wentian actually dared to rush into their midst to kill them. Since he wanted to court death, they would naturally grant him his wish. Gu Xiao roared loudly. Instantly, boundless sword might envelop the space where Qin Wentian was at, lacerating everything. The white tiger howled in rage as baleful qi gushed forth, slashing down. The experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom blasted out divine elephant might, wanting to kill Qin Wentian. But because Qin Wentian killed one of their experts, he was instantly surrounded. At this level, the reaction speed was naturally extremely fast. However, at this moment, Qin Wentian's body was enveloped by a divine turtle. On the surface of the turtle, there were actually many ancient characters fused into it. The terrifying shadow of the turtle let out a low-sounding roar as the ancient characters of suppression revolved around it, suppressing all energy. When the boundless attacks blasted towards Qin Wentian, they actually had no way to break through Qin Wentian's defense. The attacks of the 5 experts actually had no way to break through his defense. Qin Wentian directly turned his gaze to the 2 experts from the Supreme Sword School. One was at the 6th level, and the other was at the 7th level of Immortal Foundation. Both of them actually dared to join in the encirclement. Stepping out with his terrifying defense, Qin Wentian pointed his finger forward. From the shadow of the divine turtle, numerous ancient characters of swords enveloped the 2 of them. Boundless sword might gushed forth, enveloping the 2 experts from the Supreme Sword School who were proficient in sword energy. Their countenances turned pale. Under the might of this sword might, their sword intent seemed extremely tiny and insignificant. Fighting against it was like an ant trying to shake a tree. No. Expressions of reluctance could be seen in the eyes of the 2 of them. The sword might cascaded down on them as the bodies of the 2 of them directly vanished. They vanished just like that, disintegrating under the might of the sword intent. This scene was extremely shocking. In the blink of an eye, 3 experts were actually killed. 6 experts encircled him, yet 3 of them died. Was Qin Wentian really fleeing for his life earlier? Die! Gu Xiao roared in rage. The entire space transformed into swords as a gigantic sword slashed down from the air, shattering the shadow of the divine turtle on Qin Wentian's body. At this moment, Gu Xiao's expression was extremely heavy. He was a king of swords, an innate sword king. However, right in front of his eyes, Qin Wentian actually killed 2 of his fellow sect members. Not only that, Qin Wentian killed them in such a domineering manner. The sword might was still there, blasting towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's body was like that of a fiend god. Boundless runic light circulated around him as his immortal foundation manifested. He inclined his head and let out a roar of rage as a terrifying true Ho manifested. With a single roar, the heavens and earth trembled as everything collapsed. Also within this roar, there was an incomparably powerful ancient character of destruction. The sharp swords crumbled. Qin Wentian lifted his hands once more as God's hand directly grabbed out. That white tiger people expert who wanted to retreat wanted to flee, but how could he escape from Qin Wentian's suppression grand palm imprint? A gigantic palm imprint blasted down, destroying the white tiger. Out of the 6 experts, only 2 were left at the 8th level of Immortal Foundation. One was a sword king from the Supreme Sword School, Gu Xiao, and the other was an expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. When Qin Wentian killed the white tiger, he was also struck by an expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. The impact forced him to retreat as he groaned in misery. After that, he floated in the air and stared at the two remaining experts. Stretching out his hands, a terrifying coldness flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes. Do you guys really think that I'm fleeing? Qin Wentian stared at the two of them. I made you guys come here just to take your lives. As the sound of his voice faded, Qin Wentian's body appeared. His body shimmered with light, resembling an unshakable god. Boom! The entire space was enveloped by a supreme force of truth as numerous runes appeared in the air. The ancient character of sword, ancient character of suppression, ancient character of destruction. These ancient characters descended, blotting out the sun. The ancient characters and immortal foundation shone brilliantly. This entire space seemed to be controlled by Qin Wentian, controlling life and death, deciding life and death. Innate Sword King? Qin Wentian's expression was ice cold. Even if you are a true king, you will die today. Chapter 1194. Gu Xiao and the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom inclined their heads and stared at the ancient characters cascading down from the sky, enveloping the entire space. Each and every character contained an incomparably terrifying law energy, resonating with the energy of heaven and earth, radiating a divine glow. 6th level Immortal Foundation. How can he unleash such power? Could this be the power of an ultimate art? Gu Xiao's expression was incredibly unsightly to behold. For geniuses of their statuses, the innate techniques and techniques they cultivated would naturally far surpass their cultivation base. Their attacks would naturally be incomparably tyrannical as well, allowing them to continue cultivating. And it was precisely because of how tyrannical their cultivation arts and innate techniques were, they could only unleash a portion of their power. The more they dug out, the stronger they would become. For example, if he were to use the Paragon sword art now, could it be compared to when he broke through to the Immortal King realm in the future? Leaving aside the strength of an Immortal King, even if they unleashed a sword strike with the same amount of power, because the usage of the innate techniques was much more terrifying, the might of the sword strike would definitely be incomparable. As for Qin Wentian, it was as though he had dug out all the hidden potential of his terrifying innate techniques in advance. The ancient characters were like a supreme art that could suppress everything. It was as though they were the embodiment of the true self of the heavens and earth. Gu Xiao's expression turned solemn. In the blink of an eye, 4 experts were killed. The powerful Qin Wentian caused his expression to turn even heavier. His sword qi hummed, wanting to destroy the heavens. After which, Gu Xiao pointed a finger at the air. In an instant, he seemed to have transformed into a paragon of swords. Under the might of his paragon sword qi, his swords were like raging waves, transforming into a surging sword river that gushed up into the 9 heavens, wanting to annihilate everything. That expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom also had a cultivation base at the 8th level of Immortal Foundation, and was incomparably tyrannical. His divine elephant could suppress mountains and rivers, and when he attacked, the might of his attack could shake the heavens. The tyrannical attacks of the two of them blasted into the descending ancient characters. Terrifying destructive light flashed unceasingly as though the entire space here was about to transform into chaotic currents of destruction. Qin Wentian's body was like a fiend god moving through the chaotic currents, moving towards the experts from the Sky Mist Immortal Empire. His immortal foundation actually transformed into a translucent golden-winged great rock that resembled the diagram of a divine bird, radiating terrifying immortal might. At this moment, Qin Wentian lifted his hand and pointed downwards. At this instant, his immortal foundation resonated with the space around him. As his finger descended, the cry of a heavenly rock could be heard as numerous golden-winged great rocks shot out, tearing apart the space around them. The terrifying claws of the great rocks could shatter the heavens and earth, and their wings could tear apart the heavens. The expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom roared. His gigantic elephant clashed against the great rocks. Yet the other great rocks kept appearing, frenziedly attacking. Poochie! A sound rang out as the wings cleaved down. The The eyes of the expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom froze as a bloody scar appeared in the center of his brows, extending downwards. His countenance was ashen as an intense terror filled his heart. He was a prince character of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, a genius of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. His future was limitless, and he had glory that ordinary people couldn't hope to attain. But today, at this very moment, was he going to die? A beam of blood flashed as his body was split apart. Another genius had fallen, and when Qin Wentian killed him, his body was still within the torrential sword river. Boundless sword might gushed forth unceasingly, shattering Qin Wentian's defenses. Gu Xiao turned ashen. Out of the 6 great experts, he was the only one left. Qin Wentian had already killed his comrade under the attack of his paragon sword, only to see Gu Xiao's expression suddenly turning calm. There was no anger, only boundless killing intent. A voice rang out from his mouth as a powerful tempest manifested, enveloping Qin Wentian within it. The torrential sword river gushed downwards, wanting to kill Qin Wentian within it. Qin Wentian's body shone with the light of truth, but he was still being destroyed by the sword river. The might of the paragon sword might was boundless. Gu Xiao, who was at the 8th level of immortal foundation, was indeed stronger than Leba. His perfect immortal foundation continued to transform, radiating a dazzling light. Qin Wentian bathed in this light, exuding a dignified aura. It was like the holy light of the Buddhist path enveloped him as he transformed into his true body. Golden Buddhic light flashed as the runic light around him was formed from numerous ancient characters. The runic light flowed around him, causing the sword river to have no way to destroy his true body. The strength of his physique was simply shocking. He walked down step by step, moving towards Gu Xiao. Gu Xiao's expression was as solemn as ever. With a groan of misery, he coughed out a mouthful of blood. This blood splattered onto the sword river, and after that, a surge of energy frenziedly gushed forth from the sword river. A moment later, a paragon sword that was dyed red with blood manifested. This sword floated above Gu Xiao in the instant it appeared. It was like the ancestor of all swords, a paragon among swords, commanding all swords in the world. The light from this sword dyed the sword river red, illuminating the entire space. You are very strong. Gu Xiao stared at Qin Wentian as he suddenly spoke. At this moment, he was filled with admiration for Qin Wentian. He had never seen someone at the 6th level of immortal foundation being so powerful to such an extent. He, Gu Xiao, was the king of swords in the Supreme Sword School, the leader of this generation. His combat prowess was unparalleled, and he was an extremely terrifying existence. However, Qin Wentian was fighting against him with a cultivation base at the 6th level. One couldn't help but to say that Qin Wentian wasn't an ordinary expert. He had never seen someone with such tyrannical combat prowess before. But today, under my paragon sword, you are destined to die. Although Gu Xiao was filled with admiration for Qin Wentian's strength, his killing intent was still present. In fact, it was even more intense compared to before. If Qin Wentian didn't die and grew 2 levels stronger, no one in the entire Tiandao Sacred Academy would be able to stand against him. At that time, no one in the Supreme Sword School would be able to survive. He had to kill Qin Wentian no matter what. Also, he believed that under this sword strike, Qin Wentian would die for sure. I initially thought you were praising me, so it turns out that you are still as arrogant as before. Qin Wentian spoke in arrogance. Given the terrifying physique formed from God's hand, no matter how strong his true body was, Gu Xiao's paragon sword might had no way to destroy him. This is my innate sword strike. When this sword descends, there aren't many in the entire Tiandao Sacred Academy who would be able to withstand it, let alone you. If you aren't a peak level 9th level immortal foundation genius, you would die for sure. Gu Xiao pushed his finger forward slightly. A moment later, a sky-devouring aura gushed forth, slamming into Qin Wentian's true body, wanting to cause cracks to appear on it. Since we are enemies, I can only take your life. Gu Xiao continued, pushing his finger forward. The sword chi river churned madly as sword chi shot up into the sky. That sword chi frenziedly slammed into Qin Wentian's true body, causing cracks to appear on it. He stared at Gu Xiao. Under the might of the paragon sword strike, The might of this innate sword strike could indeed destroy him. As the king of swords in the Supreme Sword School, the leader of this generation, there was no need to doubt Gu Zhao's strength. Sadly, he met the current Qin Wentian. A perfect immortal foundation could manifest all the attributes he was proficient in. At this moment, numerous greater demons imprinted themselves on his immortal foundation. Qin Wentian lifted his palm. His long hair fluttered in the wind as his eyes gleamed with a demonic light. At this moment he was half Buddha, half demon. The 8 ancient demons roared, causing mountains and rivers to shatter. Sword might trembled, and from within, an overwhelming might that could devour mountains and rivers, capable of destroying the heavens and earth. Upon sensing this power, Gu Zhao's expression changed. After that, he pushed his finger forward again. Die! The sound of a single word transformed into boundless killing might. The innate paragon sword shot up into the sky, wanting to destroy everything. A blood-colored sword might shot up into the clouds. The energy in Qin Wentian's hand gushed forth, blasting outwards. The 8 greater demons transformed into 8 demon gods that blasted downwards. At this instant, a gigantic mouth of a demon god appeared, wanting to devour everything. The boundless sword Qi River vanished in an instant. The gigantic mouth of the demon god was so huge that it could devour the heavens, devouring the paragon sword. Qin Wentian roared. The paragon sword shot into the gigantic mouth of the demon god, wanting to break out and destroy Qin Wentian. However, very swiftly he groaned in misery. He felt that he had lost control of the paragon sword. After that, the sky turned dark and he was actually swallowed by the demon god. When he stared at the scene before him, his countenance turned as pale as paper. That attack continued on. Terrifying fissures appeared on the ground as a bottomless crater appeared. As for Gu Zhao and the paragon sword, they had already disappeared. Qin Wentian stood in the air. The surroundings returned to a state of silence. The 6 supreme experts were all killed by him, including the king of the Supreme Sword School. However, Qin Wentian didn't have a complacent look on his face because of this battle. His countenance was as cold as ever as he flew away. Qing'er and Qingqing were both in the Sacred Academy. It was unknown if they were dead or alive. There was also Jun Mengchen, Little Rascal, Namhuang Yunxi, and the others. How could he feel at ease? If something happened to them, so what even if he slaughtered all the experts from the other major powers? Not long after Qin Wentian left, another group of silhouettes arrived here. When they felt the lingering aura, and when they stared at the terrifying crater below, as well as the fissures that extended far into the distance, their countenances all changed. Such a terrifying destructive force. It was definitely an incomparably powerful attack. Their silhouettes flashed as they stared at a corpse on the ground. If the person who chased after Qin Wentian had the ability to kill him, they should still be here by right. They vanished, but their corpses were left behind. Could it be that Qin Wentian was the victor of this battle? If this was the case, Qin Wentian's combat prowess had to be reevaluated. Could it be that he broke through to the 7th level of Immortal Foundation? If this was the case, most probably only experts at the peak of the 9th level would be able to deal with Qin Wentian. They glanced at each other, not knowing if they should continue their pursuit or not. And from afar, there were currently several experts trying to find their way back. These people were none other than Jun Mengchen and the others. They knew that Qin Wentian would definitely come looking for them. Right now, they should gather together and increase their strength. Only then would they be able to resolve this situation, and not be pursued endlessly. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.